take anything away from Tennessee and Texas A&M that are staging a great series out in Omaha. So good luck to the Aggies and the Volunteers tonight, and may the best team win. I'll just say that.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, Game 7.
Yes!
Could not be more excited. By the way, we're going to talk to Rod Brind'Amour in about 15 or so minutes.
Double excited.
Yes. He has experience in Game 7s on home ice against the Edmonton Oilers. Connor McDavid, though, did not play.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That is the biggest difference.
A little different. Between
what Florida is dealing with and what Carolina dealt with 18 years ago. And what are we, like a week ago tomorrow? I think it was a week ago tomorrow is the anniversary of that Game 7, the 18th anniversary. I know I saw a bunch of former Hurricanes players on Twitter tweeting about it. So I saw Mike Commodore, so Brett Hedican on Twitter going in on the 18-year anniversary of that. We'll talk to Rod about what it's like to wake up in the morning of a Game 7. What is that energy like? Is there anything like it that you've ever experienced? All of those things we'll talk to Rod Brind'Amour about, and who knows what else. Maybe we'll talk to him about baseball. I'm sure he played baseball back in the day. All right, this might feel repetitive, but this has been two completely different series, right?
Oh, big time.
Right? We talked about this on Friday in advance of Game 6. Edmonton was Bobrovski'd in Game 1, at least in the first two periods of Game 1. Because I thought Edmonton was outstanding, just couldn't get a goal, couldn't beat Bob. And Connor McDavid had a bunch of scoring chances in Game 1 and got nothing out of it. And then in the third period, Florida's team defense and forecheck showed up, and they suffocated the Oilers, saw the game out, won it 3-0. And then the next two games, it was all Florida. Except for the third period, where Edmonton, what stock do you put in a third period of a game that you trailed by 3 goals going in?
Yeah.
I don't find a lot of value in that, but maybe it meant something to the Oilers, right? Mm-hmm. Because since then, oh boy.
Wow.
It has been a not a one-man show, one-sided show. Oilers have an 18-5 edge in goals since the start of Game 4. And if you care, and maybe you do, and you want to go back to Game 3 in the third period, it's 20-5.
Wow.
Right? It's 20-5 Edmonton. Yeah, there have been some empty net goals in there. So?
Yeah, still. It's a goal.
No, it's a goal, but all right, take the 2 empty net goals away from Game 6 and make it a 3-1 final.
Mm-hmm. They still win.
18-5 is still a massacre.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still one-sided no matter how you cut it. And this is interesting because I was just on was on with our friends in Charlotte this morning. And it's, believe it or not, Connor McDavid isn't the biggest problem for Florida. As much of a problem as Connor McDavid is. Because go back and look at Game 4, go back and look at Game 5. And it wasn't McDavid doing the damage early. In Game 4, Matthias Janmark, shorthanded goal. Adam Henrique, the next goal to make it 2-0. Florida scored. Dylan Holloway made it 3-1. None of those guys are named Connor McDavid.
No.
Game 5, shorthanded goal, Connor Brown, the only goal of the first period. Game 6, Warren Fogle, breakaway goal.
Yep.
Adam Henrique, another goal. So, and McDavid didn't even have a point in Game 6, took Game 6 off. The biggest problem for Florida is that it's not just Connor McDavid now.
Their depth is showing up.
Holy cow.
Because it's not even Hyman or Draisaitl. Yeah. It's everyone else.
Hyman, after getting the goal off his leg, has started to score.
Right, he's warming up now.
And I'm not saying that McDavid and Draisaitl's pass to Fogle for the first goal yesterday, or
Yes.
in Game 6, it wasn't a breakaway goal. Fogle has a breakaway goal in this series.
Yes.
But the first goal in Game 6 was not the breakaway. That was the pass from Draisaitl to Fogle, backdoor. Tremendous pass. But Draisaitl hasn't played great, but he's still Leon Draisaitl, which means it's there.
Yeah.
It's waiting. So if it's dormant, it's going to flare up at some point. And now we're in Game 7. Like, I fully expect Leon Draisaitl to be dynamite tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to hate this for the Florida Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to truly hate it for them because I believed that they were the best team in the league. Really, I'm saying this knowing that Rod Brind'Amour is coming on, but I have thought that about the Florida Panthers pretty much since November, that they were the best team.
Yeah.
And they play in a certain way which allows them to, because I think they're kind of a top-heavy team in terms of their scoring, because they get most of their, Sam Reinhart's had 1,000 goals this year. He's never going to do that again, ever. Mm-hmm. But you've got Tkachuk and Bennett and Verhaeghe. They've got their goal scorers really in their top two lines.
And those guys haven't even been showing up in this series compared to the last one.
That is also, the power play has been abysmal.
Yeah.
But then again, Edmonton's penalty kill has been on another planet.
On point.
And like everything you do in sports, when you are confident, you're even better than you normally are. And we're going to get to Ray Ferraro here. So Ray Ferraro, lead analyst for ABC, and they'll have the game tonight. The question was asked, this is from Scott Van Pelt show last night, what changed in the last 3 games?
The biggest thing is that the Panthers play at their best, a very aggressive, a very in-your-face style of play. And when they got pumped 8-1 in Game 4, it really felt like they lost their nerve. The way that they have to play is to be physical, to forecheck, to get their defense up into the play. But I think they got spooked. And so now they're not quite as aggressive. They're kind of stuck in the middle. I think the biggest thing for 3 games is the Panthers don't look like the team that won the Eastern Conference Championship. They look like a team searching right now, and, man, it's the wrong time of year to be searching.
I have no clue. I'm not saying that Ray Ferraro is wrong in any way, shape, or form. But I do wonder, did 8-1 kind of shake them just enough to the point where now they are kind of thinking about it?
Yeah.
Because what did Paul Maurice say not only about Game 4, but it happened in Game 5, and it happened in Game 6? All of a sudden, Edmonton's in transition all game long.
Mm-hmm.
And Florida's game is very much like Carolina's game, in that if we're getting to ours, you can't get to yours because we are bottling you up with our forecheck. Florida's game is based on their forecheck, and they have not been getting to it.
Well, the Oilers, their speed. They just have no answer for the Oilers' speed.
Correct.
None.
Because they can't pin them back.
No.
Now, if you're Florida and you can get the puck behind Edmonton's defense, which I still believe is the weak point of that team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not knocking the Matthias Ekholms of the world. Bouchard is obviously an elite player. But, man, make Cody Ceci turn his back. Darnell Nurse isn't that good anymore.
No.
But they can't make that stick
because
they're not putting Edmonton in positions where those guys have to make quick plays with the puck. So as long as Florida can't get to the forecheck, this gonna be a short night. All right, so for Ray Ferraro, again from the interview with Scott Van Pelt, how can the Panthers turn it around? It's
a big chore. I think the weight of history is a big deal. And the history is that only in 1942 has a team lost the first 3 games of a Stanley Cup championship and been able to come back and win. It's remarkable that it's never happened before because it's almost impossible to do. Yet the Panthers have played themselves backwards into this spot. And I think the biggest thing that the coaches talk about with the Panthers is we take a look in the mirror and we look, what can I do to be better than I was in Game 6? As much as it's a team game, it's an individual game first. And what I mean by that is I can't be the weakest link in the chain. And so you get to Game 7, and if 18 guys and the goaltender do their job, that's all you can ask. Because for the last 3 games, they haven't been even close. In Game 6, Alexander Barkov, their captain, was the only guy that could probably walk out of that rink and say, I had a good night. The rest of them was just not where they need to be.
Yeah, I mean, nobody had a good game. Just Barkov scored. He actually scored twice. The first goal was chalked off for offside. And it was offside.
Yeah.
Right?
People are criticizing the fact that they used review and
It was offside.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask Rod about that. But hey, credit to Edmonton's video
their
coach.
team.
For credit to the video coach for recognizing that was probably offside. Paul Murray said after the game that I wouldn't have challenged it. That's fair, right? It was really close.
Yeah, but they did.
But they challenged it.
Yeah.
And when they looked at it, it was offside by a hair, but it was offside. And that's all it has to be. Mm-hmm. And Sean McDonough said during the game, it's a shame because that's not what replay was designed to do. And I am on board with this. Replay reviews in sports initially were never designed to split the atom. Okay? It was never designed for that. It was designed to rectify the obvious mistakes. But that's not what it is now. We're not rectifying obvious mistakes. We are trying to rectify all of the mistakes, at least those that we deem reviewable, which is the other problem to review. But I'm not going to belabor that point. So that's the rule. And at this point, it's linear. Was the player in the zone before the puck? The answer is yes, it's offside.
Yeah. It's not like the Oilers didn't have anything to lose, too. I mean, if you lose the challenge, they're on a power play.
And?
So, there you go.
So what?
Yeah.
But
that's
seriously.
what I'm saying. If there's risk on both sides.
Right, but Edmonton knows right now that Florida's not scoring on the power play, so there's no risk.
Yeah, no.
Had it been the other way,
yeah,
right? Had it been the other way.
That's why Paul would not have done it.
That's right. That's right. So, again, all of those things matter, which is, in this case, maybe why Florida's anemic power play is a real problem, because there was no punishment, really, for Edmonton. Either way, I'm just saying that it was offside. Maurice was predictably
upset,
livid, and it's fine. I get it.
Right.
It was really, really close. I'm sure we got a better angle than the one they showed us on television.
Oh, yeah.
It was not an awesome angle. Let me just throw a couple of quick Canes things in here, because the closer we get, by the way, the draft is coming up. Was it Friday night? Either Thursday night or Friday night in Vegas. First round is one night, then the rest of it's the next night. The NBA draft is also this week. Got both drafts to deal with. Free agency begins, what's today, the 24th? We're 8 days away from the free agent signing period. So real quick, free agents that I would love to keep, but I am almost certain that Carolina can't. Not doesn't want to, but can't. Jake Gensel. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. You're signing Seth Jarvis. You got other things you have to get. They're just not going to pay $9.5 million for Jake Gensel.
He's way too expensive.
And he might get 10 on the open market. And I don't think Carolina really wants to go beyond 8.5. So they're not going to do that. Brady Shea. Love to keep him. Can't. Not with Jacob Slavin's extension going to kick in, because he's going to sign that eventually. That'll kick in. Alexander Nikishin is going to be here at the end of next season, and then he's going to be on your second pair as a left shot defenseman. Jalen Chatfield is signed. You've got Scott Morrow waiting in the wings. They're just not signing Brady Shea to a 7-year contract worth in the neighborhood of, I don't know, $7.5 million a year, even $6.5. I don't think Brett Pesce is even in the cards for this team, based on what Pesce can likely get as an unrestricted free agent elsewhere, and where Carolina is. And as much as I love Brett, I just don't know what his body is going to allow him to do beyond another 2 or 3 years. So I just don't see Pesce coming back. So, I mean, if Shea was a righty, I think that would be much easier to do.
Yes.
Because we only have one more year left of Brent Burns, and I'm not entirely sure that the tank isn't already on E.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he's got a perfect attendance.
He does.
He's put a lot of time in.
He absolutely does. So I just don't see the Hurricanes signing their unrestricted free agents beyond Jordan Martinook and Steph Nason. Martinook, to me, this should be easy. 3 times 2.5, roughly. That should get it done. And I know there's some people out there that think that Nason is going to be at least that much and maybe more. Okay, I don't think so. I know he can score, but he didn't score as much as Martinook did last year. So, I mean, I'm not knocking Steph Nason. I think Steph Nason is a DH. I think he's a great power play guy. But other than that, I don't know that he is an amazing player at 5-on-5. I want him, but I don't want him at a. I'd way rather have Jordan Martinook.
Oh, yes.
Than Steph Nason.
Always.
All right, so now one other thing here real quick before I get to 2 free agents that Carolina might be interested in. I think the Canes need to come out of this period, whether it's before free agency or into free agency. I think they need to come out of this with a different goaltending group. The group that includes Pyotr Kochetkov, but includes other players not named Frederik Andersen. I think they have to have another goalie. So that, to me, is one of the most important things to do in the offseason. And then there are 2 players that have been linked with Carolina, mostly because one of them has been linked with Carolina forever, Patrick Laine. And my only fear about Laine is that he's only got 2 years left in a contract. The current contract is a huge number. It's like $8.7 million per year. But he's also coming off a year where he barely played due to injury. And while he has had plenty of successful scoring seasons in the past, yeah, he has shown the willingness to play both ends of the rink. It ain't in his DNA. And because his body didn't cooperate last year, it'd be a hard trade for Carolina to make unless Columbus was willing to eat a lot of the salary. Much like Washington is eating half of Yevgeny Kuznetsov, I don't know that Carolina can make a deal with the Blue Jackets unless Columbus is willing to eat half of the salary for Laine at this point. Because the value would be to get him at a lower number, not the number he's at. And the other part is Nick Ehlers from Winnipeg, who wants out, but I think Ehlers is also 1 year away from unrestricted free agency. And while he is a 200-foot player and has a goal-scoring knack and I think would fit nicely in on the wing for Carolina, with 1 more year left, you'd have to know that you were going to get the best of Nick Ehlers, and you'd probably have to be able to extend his contract too. I do know that the team likes him as a player, but I just know that from the past. I don't know that from the present. But I just don't know if they can make a deal like that doesn't include a lot of other pieces with the Winnipeg Jets. All right, we're going to take a break. Rod Brind'Amour is going to join us on the other side as we talk Game 7 and maybe a little more. Next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
99.9 The Fan and Arise Urology Clinic present Men's Health Month. Smoking causes cancer, heart disease, a greater risk of stroke, and increased risk of erectile dysfunction. Start your winning streak now and commit to quit. You'll fix your organs, get your looks back, and end the smoker's cough. The long-term benefits lower the chance of death and decrease your danger to your body for your future. Men's Health Month is powered by Arise. Call Arise Urology Clinic for Men at 919-964-3750 or visit CoreWaveTherapy.com.
Did somebody say free diamond bracelet? That's right. Diamonds Direct is expanding upon their best offer yet. Make any purchase this month and receive a free diamond tennis bracelet valued at $2,000. That's right. Any engagement ring, any diamond necklace, any timepiece. Purchase any item valued at $10,000 or more and receive a stunning diamond tennis bracelet at no extra cost. Every purchase of $10,000 or more qualifies. So hurry into Diamonds Direct. Your chance to get a free tennis bracelet ends June 30th. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
Get bonus days to save during Window Nation's semi-annual sale now through June 30th. Get 50% off all windows along with no interest for 5 years, plus a bonus 10% savings when you schedule an estimate. If your inefficient windows are costing you too much for air conditioning, that's a big deal. Now during Window Nation's semi-annual sale, you can replace them and save a big deal too. Offer ends June 30th, so schedule your in-home estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing, made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories, all without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver, all the taste, no bitter endings. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew, 30 seconds, that's it. Done. Peace.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah, crazy story. So I'm at the Nissan Thrill of Summer sales event when Dave, the sales guy, asks, "Want to test drive the Rogue?" And I'm like, "Let's go." We're driving when Dave says, "Check out the VC turbo engine." I hit the gas and whoosh. I'm like, "Okay, I wasn't expecting that." Dave goes, "If you think that's cool, watch this." Dave shows me the miles per gallon and I'm like, "Whoa, that's pretty impressive fuel economy." Dave mentions, "These new cars are going fast." And in that moment, I had to have that Rogue. Crazy, right?
Wait till you hear how I got my Sentra.
Now get 2.9% APR financing for 60 months on Rogue. Shop the Nissan sales event. Visit your local Nissan store and nissanusa.com today. 2024 EPA fuel economy estimates from 28 city, 34 highway to 30 city, 37 highway for 2024 Nissan Rogue. Actual mileage may vary. For well-qualified buyers, 2.9% APR financing for 60 months on new 2024 Rogue in dealer stock. Example, 60 months financing is $17.92 per month per thousand financed. Actual down payment may vary. Subject to residency restrictions and INMAC credit approval. Not all buyers qualify. Dealer contribution may affect actual price set by dealer. Contact dealer for details. N7824.
Enjoy your summer even more by switching to Total by Verizon. Now you can get 50% off any unlimited data phone plan. That's one line for only $25 a month, and you keep the phone you love. Hurry! This is a limited time offer, so find a store or switch at totalbyverizon.com. Offer ends 7/31/24. Promo subject to cancellation after 12 months. Available exclusively online and in Total by Verizon stores. Requires a compatible unlocked device and SIM. See totalbyverizon.com for device compatibility and additional details. Taxes and fees may apply.
For more than 75 years, University of Maryland Global Campus has given you the opportunity to build your next success. Choose from more than 135 degree and certificate programs in career-relevant fields like business, healthcare, data analytics, cybersecurity, and more. Plus, we offer 100% online and hybrid courses, personalized advising, and lifetime career services. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
This is Adam Gold.
Please let the coach and GM pick this year.
Right.
And they put this on the sign outside of the restaurant, and I guess David Tepper actually went inside this restaurant.
Do you know that there is security video of that visit?
Wow.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Game 7 tonight. If you are local to Raleigh, you can hear the game on 99.9 The Fan this evening. Let's see. Do we know somebody with experience having a Game 7 on home ice against the Edmonton Oilers? Lo and behold, we do. He is the head coach of the Carolina Hurricanes, Rod Brind'Amour. First of all, happy summer. How are you?
Good. How are you guys? It sounds like nothing's changed. Still plugging away.
I mean, yeah, we don't have any other. We have to fake it, even if there's nothing going on. But we have a Game 7 tonight, and there's a lot of things going on in the world that I am interested in. even if some people aren't. And probably you aren't interested in some of the things that I am, but it's fine. So we're still plugging away. What have you done over the last, let's say, 3 weeks?
Nothing much different. I go to the rink every day. We're in the process now of obviously trying to sign all our players, and so that's going on crazy. That's really what we've been focused on, and I'm helping in there where I can, and then obviously for us now too, from a coaching standpoint, it's about getting ready for next year. So you're putting all your video together for training camp and just dialing all that in, and so that's kind of the routine right now.
Are you optimistic at all about signing like a bunch of the big name guys? Because I just spent 10 minutes going through a lot of the names, and I am not optimistic about some of the bigger ticket items coming back, not because the team doesn't want them, but they're like Seth Jarvis is about to get paid. So, I mean, I'm not blaming Seth, but there's a lot of things that are going to happen, and there just isn't going to be a lot of room to bring those guys back. So are you optimistic about any of those big guys?
I'd like to be. You're right? We can just blame this on Seth and be done with it. But it's tough because I know all the guys. First of all, I want them all back. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
It's tough because I understand both sides of it, and the players. They all. The other part that's tough is they all want to be here. There is a genuine thing. They'd love to stay. They love what we're doing. They love the area. But when there's, in their minds, and they have agents that don't care about any of what I just said.
Right.
And so they're sitting there telling them, whoa. Let's just wait and see because there's X team out there that's going to pay this. And, the players have X amount of years to play. And so that's what makes it tough. So it's tough for me to sit there and go, hey, just sign with us, come on, and then knowing that they look at it a little differently too. So it's that's what's been going on. Am I optimistic? I can guarantee you that. Well, I am optimistic, but I don't think we're going to be able to have the same team. So that's for sure. There's no doubt about that.
I'll ask about one guy in specifically because you and I have talked about it. I've talked with him about it. I feel like Jordan Martinook is very much the culture that you and I guess Justin Williams helped usher in 6 years ago. I think that would be the most difficult loss to deal with.
Yeah, no, he's a big part of it. It's what he does off the ice and stuff. But I think, you mentioned, he was kind of the first guy that I actually met or talked to. He was, I think, our first trade maybe that we did when I became coach. And so we definitely have a connection on how that all started, I think. But I do think over the years now we've had this, real influx of good young players with the mix of the old guys. And you remember Jordan Stahl is still here. And you talk about the culture leader, that's the guy.
Right.
So thankfully he's locked in. So we know what we're getting there. And other guys have certainly stepped up in that department, but he's going to be a huge loss if we can't get him signed. No doubt about it. But at the end of the day, I do think there's other guys that are ready to step up in that kind of role too. So because he's done such a good job, I mean, we've seen it, and guys understand what needs to be done. So I hope we can get these guys back. We've still got a little bit of time here, and most of the time these things happen right at the end here. So we'll see.
Rod Brind'Amour is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, I'll ask you about a couple of other, Hurricanes matters coming up, but I want to ask you about Game 7, and if you could take me back, not to what happened in Game 6, because we all saw what happened in Game 6 in Edmonton in 2006, but when you got up the morning of Game 7, and what was that day like? And I'm just trying to figure out or trying to relate what maybe Matthew Tkachuk or Alexander Barkov are going through today. Now, it's different. You guys didn't lose 3 games in a row to get to Game 7, but what is the morning of Game 7 on your home ice like?
Yeah, I think I can only relate to, like you said, it happened for us was relief. I didn't realize how much stress I was carrying around until all of a sudden I woke up that morning. I'm like, okay, it's over today. Like win or lose, it's done. There's nothing left. Like this, and it felt kind of reassuring for some reason. And I just, that's how I felt about it. I don't know the other guys, but it just felt like the pressure kind of came off. It wasn't like it was on. So that at least that's how I felt in the morning. And I remember, my little boy and Skylar at the time in the morning saying, hey, and he's like, Dad, you better win this thing. Like, let's go. And we just kind of went about our day. And, obviously it worked out. But I think it's almost easier to play a game like this when there's nothing left. There's no, we got another game. We don't have another. It's just lay it all out there, and it's over tonight one way or another.
It's funny. I saw a couple of the guys on social media, Mike Commodore, Brett Hedican, and obviously you guys are a brotherhood for forever because of what you guys did as a family. Have you guys talked about that? Like what that day was like for everybody? I know you're still close with Hetty and Kevin Adams. What have you guys talked about that particular day?
That's a good question. It's funny. When we get together or still just text. We get these, you know Connie. So he gets the text chains going, and they're just silly, right? And they have nothing to do with hockey. So it's and then it just goes a different direction. So and generally when we get together over the years, we don't really talk about hockey. It's just it is what you said. It's a brotherhood that just, I think will last a lifetime. And we don't actually talk a lot about hockey, and that's kind of how I guess it should be, really. But I think everyone has their own kind of memories of it, and that's really that journey. It's not even the end of it, really. So this Game 7 is tonight. Everyone's going to remember that, but it's that whole journey up until that really creates that brotherhood.
I think Kevin played with a broken hand.
Yeah.
That's is one of the great war. See, he looks like a pretty boy, doesn't he, Kevin Adams?
Yeah. Not anymore.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't know. I don't think he's hitting the GQ anytime soon. And I'm not either, so don't worry. I can throw that out there. But, we're not getting any prettier the older we get, that's for sure.
I don't know. Brett, I think Brett's still a handsome man.
Oh, Hetty is. I thought you said Kevin.
Well, no, I did, but I was like, I was just generalizing everybody. But, and Ray Whitney's still pretty handsome. But
you're right.
All right.
I mean, those guys, different category.
All right. What do you think happened in this series that completely flipped it? Because it looked after 3 games like Florida was just going to be a coronation, that maybe they'd lose Game 4 but get back right on it in Game 5. But they haven't been able to regain anything. So what do you think changed?
Well, what do you think changed? And I'll throw it at you.
I personally think that Florida, maybe they got kind of scared by 8-1 in game number 4, but I don't think Florida's gotten to their forecheck at all. Maybe Edmonton's just moved the puck too fast for them to get to it.
That's a big part of it. So you're right on there. But I also just think let's just be real on the saves that are not happening.
Okay, yeah, Bob has just been okay. He's been ordinary.
The grade A chances are going in.
Right.
They go to Game 1 when the grade A chances, and I'm talking about for Edmonton. They didn't go in.
In the first 2 periods, yeah.
So but right now, it's not like you can fault them. I don't think there was one bad goal that I've seen the last couple of games, but they're going to give up grade A chances. You just do. When he makes the saves, you don't talk about it, and then you go to the next one. But all of a sudden they go in, and everyone's like, what happened? That's what I see is different. The Skinners made a few grade A's. There was a couple early in the game. Mm-hmm. Don't know what game it was. That's the difference that those go in. And suddenly you go the other way, and Edmonton scores. And, that's really the difference. And you hate to boil it down to that simply of a thing, but that's what I'm seeing. I mean, but to your point, if you want to go systematically, then, yes, the forecheck has been kind of non-existent for Florida. And when they've kind of gone, they've gotten caught. And that's where maybe they are a bit thinking, whoa, what's happening here? But I think tonight you're going to see a different game out of Florida.
Rod Brind'Amour is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. All right, I want to get to the challenge call because you and I have talked about replay in the past. This is not a replay issue. This is something that we look at routinely. What did you think about the overturned goal by Barkov?
Well, the offside one is easy. Nobody gets those wrong. I don't even know what the success rate, because it's black and white. It's obvious. You take a look. The puck didn't cross. There's a little bit of white between the skate and the blue line. You challenge it 100 times out of 100. And so it's not like, to me, that one's not, even though it was so close, you could see it clearly if you had the right view, it was offside.
Yep.
That's easy. It's not, those ones are not debatable. It's not even worth talking about. It's the other stuff that we talk about that's nobody knows what's going on goal interference, and I hope that doesn't happen tonight. That's not black and white, and that's where we get in trouble.
Is there a way to make that more black and white? I don't know that there is. The goalie interference.
Common sense in. There has to be more common sense to it, and then you can't put it in the coach's hands. Like, just to take it out of there, because the penalty's too severe, for that kind of thing. So, because now the whole game gets influenced, and now you're just adding. So I think, number one, put more common sense into it, what it used to be, which, if you run into a goalie, you can't make the save, that's a goal interference. If you have a little bump and it gets a little this and that, that's common sense for me. Anyway, I know it sounds, a little bit, that sounds easy, but I think it's just gone way too technical now where, you got an inch in there. Does he even touch the goalie at all? And if he does, I don't know. Nobody knows. So that one I hope does not happen tonight. That would be terrible.
I know we have, like in English football and actually in soccer all over the world, we have video assistant referees. Should there be one of those in every NHL game?
There should be something. We've talked about this forever.
Right.
We're still officiating almost in the dark ages, 30 years ago. Well, and now they are doing more of it. Like, watch how often now they'll call a major for no reason, because that they can actually go review, and then they get it right. Like, it's amazing. Just review the penalties quickly, or go to a TV timeout while you're reviewing it, and we just can move along when you're getting it right. And so they're moving toward it a lot more, I think, slowly than they should, but I think we're getting to that point where you're going to have something like you just said, or some form of fashion where we get these calls right because the technology's there.
We have penalties for embellishment.
No.
They're rarely called. They have been called more often. I'll fan out here. I think they have been called more often against Carolina than any other team that I've seen. Should the penalties for, like, diving, like when Igor Shesterkin spins like a top to enhance the contact, or Bobrovsky, who does a fair amount of diving. Should those penalties be more severe?
Well, you just need to call it, and then the only problem is because you watch it live, you can't really tell. But like, we get the review of it, and then we go, oh my gosh! Like, there's way more. Like the tripping where you tap a guy from the back and his legs go out forward. Oh, how would that be a tripping? That's clearly he dove. Like, it doesn't work that way. But when you watch it live, you can't tell. So that's why we need to have the quick reviews, because if you actually call the embellishment versus the trip, then you wouldn't have it, right? We're becoming a little more like soccer. I know you're a big soccer guy.
I am.
But there's a reason they do that, is because they get calls for it, right? Or whatever. I don't know. They must. And so why do you think guys are doing this now? Because it's working. So we need to stop that quickly. To me, it's just a quick review. And then you could even add a fine on it, do something, embarrass the guys, stop doing it, and it'll go away. But when it's working, you can't fault the guy for embellishing when they're getting the calls, right?
Yellow card for embellishment, and then a yellow card accumulation, and you get too many, and it's like technical fouls in basketball. You get too many technical fouls, you get suspended for a game. I'd be all about it.
I love it. And in soccer, don't you play on if it's a foul, but it doesn't really affect the play? You just keep going.
Absolutely.
Yeah, why couldn't you do that in hockey?
We should play advantage.
Right, the tap on the hand. It didn't matter. The puck kept moving forward. It went to the guy. Good. We're keep going. I don't know. It's too much common sense there.
All right, final thing. I don't know what else you're watching other than Game 7 tonight. Or have you watched any of the European Soccer Championships or the Copa America? You watching any of that?
No, I knew you were going to ask me that. I thought that was what I was coming on here to talk about. Remember, we've had this discussion.
Right.
We
had a Game 7 tonight. We had a Game 7 tonight.
I know. we had Game 7. I get it. That took it. But the college baseball I was really into for a while, and now not so much.
Right, me too.
But, that's on tonight too somehow. I don't know why they doubled up on that, but that's been exciting to watch. And then the golf's been good on the weekends, right? Another good one yesterday.
Oh, man. Yeah, Scotty Scheffler wins again.
Yeah, this guy's unreal. So I've been watching that. The soccer, not so much, but maybe I'll get into that. It's on it today at 3 or something, right?
It is on today. We have 2 matches on at 3. So, yeah, it should be a lot of fun. But real quick, what are your thoughts on Rory McIlroy not wanting to win, apparently, the U.S. Open?
Man, I don't know. That's so hard. Because I golf, or I try to, and I miss those like it's my job. And so, I can't. It's not like he was trying to miss it, Right. I actually feel bad for him because
I do too.
He should make those, right?
Yep.
And he does. Didn't he, like 90% of them, like whatever? That was insane. Like he doesn't miss those, and he did, and it cost him that tournament, which I actually feel for him because he's such a good golfer. So I'm not jumping on him.
No, I'm with you.
That's going to happen. That's why sports are so great, right? You just never know.
You just never know. All right, so next time that we talk, we'll talk no hockey, and we will talk about other things. We had a Game 7 tonight, so I thought I would ask you about that.
Yeah, I love it. Okay,
right,
buddy.
Thank you very much. You got it.
All right.
Take care. Rod Brind'Amour here on the Adam Gold Show. Oh, man, I don't know why I'm laughing, but I am. All right, we got to hit a quick break. One-timers coming up, and we'll have definitive questions and answers next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And even as the playoffs wind down in basketball and hockey, there's still stuff worth wagering on if you are so inclined. And FanDuel wants to give you incentive to just keep a little skin in the game. Open up the app and enjoy all summer long. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There is something for everyone every day all summer long. Go to FanDuel.com/AGS, FanDuel.com/AGS, and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Must be 21 or older and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Wager requirements apply. Bonuses awarded as non-withdrawable bonus bets or profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including bonus expiration. See terms and conditions at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Be prepared for the next outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Power your life with a Generac home standby generator. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
Virtual healthcare is changing the way that traditional medicine is being delivered. Ironically, treating some people from afar is actually increasing access to medical health. Dr. Matt Anderson is with Charlotte-based Advocate Health, a member of the North Carolina Healthcare Association. He says telehealth is enhancing the ability of doctors and nurses to treat more people in better ways.
What we've really tried to do is build out that infrastructure from a virtual standpoint to enable us to better impact the health of our communities in a more convenient, simple, and easy way.
Learn how telehealth methodologies are not only saving people money, but how virtual medicine is transforming lives and the health of our communities. I'm Christine Bellino. Join me and my guest, Dr. Matt Anderson, for the latest edition of Conversations on the State of Healthcare, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association. And for more information, listen to our podcast on the North Carolina News Network and visit nchealthcare.org.
You wouldn't ask your mechanic to help stage your property for an open house. As NC Realtors, we're experts who make buying or selling property easier for you. Using the latest technology and armed with local insights, our Realtors help you find properties you would want to call home. We also know which details make your property more attractive to other buyers. from start to finish. Our Realtors know. Find out more at ncrealtorsknow.com.
The North Carolina Zoo is celebrating 50 wild years in 2024. Voted top zoo in the nation, the North Carolina Zoo is centrally located in Asheboro. Bring your family for a day trip or a weekend excursion to connect with nature and make cherished memories. Discover towering giraffes, a herd of elephants, a crash of rhinos, and a flock of seabirds. Plus, ride an endangered species carousel and stroll through the exotic butterfly garden. Plan your next outdoor adventure at nczoo.org.
Everyone goes through tough times, and everyone can get through them, as long as they don't have to do it alone. Dial 988 if you need someone to talk to. Get what you need to get to a better place. Together, we'll find the care that works best for you. We're here 24/7. Call, text, or chat 988. 988. Let's get through it together. Brought to you by the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services.
This is Adam Gold.
I had no idea John is a Cubs fan, too.
Yeah, I think that's a prerequisite to being the head coach at Duke. I made one comment about the Cubs to Mike Krzyzewski. Goes back a while ago. Talked about the pitching staff, and he goes, yeah, but I don't trust Victor Zambrano. Like, what?
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold, Victoria, producing the program. Rod did reference that he was into the college baseball while State and Carolina was still around, and that didn't last very long either.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense, but if I don't have an interest, State or Carolina or Duke, I'm sorry. ECU, ain't watching.
No.
Same. No, just not happening.
No.
Not. Plus, it looks hot.
I know.
It looks watching a Major League Baseball game. It doesn't look nearly as hot as it does watching a college baseball game, and I don't know why that is.
It's fascinating. I don't know.
So, all right, it's time for whatever time we have left for one-timers.
All right. Well, it's all Game 7 because I want it to be, and I'm so excited for it. So, if the Oilers win tonight. Hypothetical question. If the Oilers win tonight, are people going to look at this game as a great comeback or a flop for the Panthers?
I actually think it will be looked at as the comeback. And part of that is because of Connor McDavid. I had some people, by the way, who were mad at me when I said that you shouldn't be allowed to win the playoff, the Conn Smythe, if your team didn't win the title. And that doesn't mean I don't think that you were the best player in the playoffs. It just means that I respect your despondency in losing the Stanley Cup Finals to not put you in that position of accepting an MVP trophy when your team didn't win it. That was my point. It shouldn't be that difficult to grasp, but apparently it was. McDavid is an otherworldly talent.
Absolutely.
Otherworldly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this will be looked at as Edmonton coming back more than Florida giving it away.
All right, and probably last one. So, if the Panthers don't win this game, is it going to be looking bad for Paul Maurice since they've made it now to the Stanley Cup playoffs twice and they wouldn't come away with a win?
I don't think this was. I mean, look, Paul Maurice got to Florida and changed how that team played. So I don't think this reflects poorly on Paul Maurice if they don't win it. And I don't think they're going to win it. So it's too bad.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free from credit cards, car loan, and personal loans. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value is way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for a home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. Call now, 919-381-1760, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com, 919-381-1760, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Grilling, better with Pepsi.
For a limited time, get 2 20-ounce Pepsis for only $4.25 at Refuel. So hurry in and enjoy an ice-cold Pepsi today.
It's bow time. Listen up, because we've got some big news to share. You might want to sit down for this. Bow Sauce is back at Bojangles. If you think you missed it, just imagine how our Supremes must have felt. Because there's no better sauce to pair with our crispy golden chicken Supremes. They're already boldly seasoned to perfection, but add Bow Sauce and you can taste a truly legendary combination that will make you want to yell, "It's bow time!" So don't wait. Grab a Supreme and dip into some Bow Sauce. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing to satisfy your craving for flavor with a Bojangles Chicken Supremes dinner. Choose a 3-piece or 4-piece Supremes dinner. Get your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea. And don't forget the sauce for dipping, because Bow Sauce is back. That's right, Bow Sauce is back. Hungry for flavor and value and love the Bow Sauce? Then it's bow time.
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $10 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become the best versions of themselves. Visit movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
Get bonus days to save during Window Nation's semi-annual sale now through June 30th. Get 50% off all windows along with no interest for 5 years, plus a bonus 10% savings when you schedule an estimate at 866-90-NATION or windownation.com.
The light is fading, your hands are sore, and the last tool's been put away. Now is the time to feel the satisfaction that comes with a job well done. But when you get your tools from Harbor Freight, something about the job feels a little different. Your wallet. Because we believe that everyone deserves hardworking tools at hardworking prices. And that's what we have here. So, whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com. That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Snead is ready. Here it comes. In the air to right, pretty well hit. Tears going back at the track, in front of the wall, makes the catch, and the Volunteers survive to force a winner-take-all game. 4-1 the final. Tennessee defeats Texas A&M, and we've got one game for a national title. Tennessee, Texas A&M, Monday night in Omaha.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Tennessee, Texas A&M tonight. 7 o'clock, I believe, on ESPN. Winner take all of it. Seems like the College World Series goes on forever. It just does. You got 8 teams out there. You got 2 different brackets going on at the same time. It's a lot of baseball. They're out there. If you cover the College World Series, it is a commitment. You are in Omaha for like 2 weeks. Good for both the Aggies and the Volunteers. We'll see what happens tonight. Some of us will be focused on game number 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals as Edmonton and Florida. This has not happened where a team was down 3-0. Let me just finish that sentence. Edmonton and Florida will play for the toughest trophy to win in sports. I mean, we don't have to debate it, just is. What those men go through for 2 months. It's the middle of June. It's actually almost the end of June. It's June 24th.
Yeah, we got a week left-ish. Less than a week.
8 days.
Yeah.
Next Tuesday is July 1st, correct? Or, yeah, next Tuesday, July 1st.
Next Monday. There's only 30 days in June.
You're right.
Mm-hmm. 6 days.
Excuse me.
It's okay. It's Monday.
Sun will come out.
Yeah.
Drinking out of an Annie mug.
Exactly. You have to sing it when you drink out of the
Well,
mug.
I'm bald like Daddy Warbucks. So, now I don't even remember what I was talking about. Oh, look. We're almost at the end of June. The playoffs began like the 2 weeks into April. So we are beyond 2 additional months of grueling physical hockey. This is Edmonton's 26th game of the postseason.
It's a lot. A lot.
I mean, if you win a Super Bowl, you play at best 4 additional games.
Right.
Right, 4.
And that's it.
That's it. That's a lot, right? 4 additional football games is a little less than 25% of a regular season. If, like, Kansas City played 3, right? Kansas City was the top seed?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Kansas City played 3 additional games. 3 of that's less than 20% of a season.
Yep.
In Major League Baseball.
Oh.
I mean, you play 162 games.
Right.
And then we've added playoffs. We've added games to the playoffs. It pales in comparison. In the NBA, yeah, I mean, the NBA and the NHL, you have to play a lot more games.
Mm-hmm.
No offense to the NBA. Yes, you guys, I'm not saying it's easy, right?
Right.
But what those guys do on ice,
their skill set is out of this world.
The skill set, but the physicality,
the endurance,
the injuries that they have to deal with.
Yeah, if they're not injured now, that's a miracle.
They're all injured. Every single one of them.
Yeah.
Every single one of them is injured. There is no doubt about that. So this is the toughest trophy to win in sports. And what's about to happen tonight could be something that has not happened in 82 years. 1942 was the only other, or the first time, because I think it happened in 1940 as well. In 1942, it was the last time that a team rallied from 3-0 down in a Stanley Cup Finals, and that was Toronto rallying to beat Detroit.
Yeah, and I think it happened again like 3 years later, and that's it.
So it happened in 45? Was it 4?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay.
42 was the first, and then it happened again.
45.
Yeah.
And again, this is why I always say this. These numbers that people spit out. Teams that win game 1, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I understand. But every single time you flip a coin, every time, you have the same chances of heads and tails. I'm just talking about probability here. Every single time you flip a coin, you have a 50% chance of getting heads. Theoretically, you could flip a coin 1,000,000 times in a row, and it can come up heads every single time. So playing this team has a 90% chance, an 82%, those things always make me laugh, and I always will put a caveat on them in that the following doesn't matter. Once Edmonton got their feet in the series, the way they did it was going to be a problem. It just was. It was always going to be a problem. And Connor McDavid got going, as Rod Brind'Amour pointed out, and we've talked about it. Sergei Bobrovsky stopped coming up, stopped saving his team. Bobrovsky has not played badly at all.
No.
Not at all. Actually, I would argue that Bobrovsky is about the same as he was against the Rangers.
Yeah.
He didn't have to be great against the Rangers. He only had to be okay. Again, he had to be solid against the Rangers.
You can only be a one-man team on a very team-esque type sport for so long before it catches up.
So, this is not blaming Sergei Bobrovsky. But once he stopped bailing his team out, which his team has needed the last 3 games, now all of a sudden Edmonton is flying.
Oh, yeah.
And they're everywhere.
Literally, they're almost flying.
And this is where I pointed this out earlier, and I guess this is our second take on the news of the day. I pointed this out earlier because it was asked of me in a Q&A I did with our friends in Charlotte before the show. Oh, wait, Connor McDavid is just doing all sorts of crazy things. And he is. And McDavid's the best player on earth, and he's going to be the Conn Smythe winner when Edmonton wins it. And I do think they're going to win tonight. Of course, that, if anything, is the kiss of death for Edmonton.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Are you placing your bet on
I'm
it?
rooting for Florida. Yes, I'm going to. I'm going to take Edmonton.
Yeah.
Connor McDavid didn't score any of the first 3 goals in Game 4. Matthias Janmark, shorthanded. Adam Henrique. Dylan Holloway. It was 3-1 after 1. Edmonton went on to win the game 8-1. Yes, McDavid registered 4 points, but they all came after it was 3-1. Connor Brown, shorthanded in Game 5, another game. That was the game where that was probably Florida's best chance to win the series in Game 5. And they gave up the shorthanded goal. That was the only goal in the first period. Edmonton was the better team the rest of the way. And yes, Connor McDavid, I think it was the 5-3 game, Connor McDavid did, in fact, have 4 more points. But he didn't feature in the most important goal of the game. And that was the Connor Brown shorthanded goal. And then Warren Fogle and Adam Henrique scored early in game number 6. Again, this is in no way taking anything away from Connor McDavid, but to me, it's the other guys that have really separated Edmonton from Florida. All right, so for Ray Ferraro, who will be the analyst between the benches in Game 7 tonight in Florida, he was on with Scott Van Pelt last night. What changed the last 3?
The biggest thing is that the Panthers play at their best, a very aggressive, a very in-your-face style of play. And when they got pumped 8-1 in Game 4, it really felt like they lost their nerve. The way that they have to play is to be physical, to forecheck, to get their defense up into the play. But I think they got spooked. And so now they're not quite as aggressive. They're kind of stuck in the middle. I think the biggest thing for 3 games is the Panthers don't look like the team that won the Eastern Conference Championship. They look like a team searching right now, and, man, it's the wrong time of year to be searching.
Agreed. It is. By the way, this game is an absolute dead heat in terms of Vegas. Both teams are minus 110. So it is a complete pick'em game tonight. And as Rod Brind'Amour pointed out earlier, the fact is that Bobrovsky has not been able to be the Bobrovsky that they had in the first 2 periods of Game 1 when Edmonton was all over Florida and got nothing out of it. Bob saved them in Game 1. John Forsen talked about it on Friday, too. Game 1 was the goalie game, right?
Oh, yeah.
And after that, Florida got into the series. They won games 2 and 3 because they were the better team. And now, Stuart Skinner has actually outplayed Sergei Bobrovsky.
I know, and who would have saw it coming? No one. No one at all.
No. I don't know how many conversations I had with our friend Lindsey Brown, who covers the Western Conference, whether it was on Stormwatch or on this show, nobody thought that Edmonton could win a Stanley Cup. You essentially riding Stuart Skinner.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if they just overwhelm teams, which in some ways they have, but they have needed Stuart Skinner to be really good, and he has been better than Sergei Bobrovsky in this series.
Yeah. This is just an observation, and it may not be anything, but I've kind of noticed teams that rely heavily on their goalie, they can only do about 3 games in a series before it's on the team. Because you saw the same thing with Igor in the series with the Rangers. He's amazing, standing on his head for at least 3 solid games, and then after that it just starts trickling down. They can only do so much. They are human.
Well, if you are relying on your goalie to bail you out all the time,
it's bad news bears.
Which in the series the Rangers were relying on him to.
Oh, absolutely.
Because Shesterkin played at an incredibly high level, and the Rangers lost the series in 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he outplayed Bobrovsky. Not even close.
Oh, yeah.
But Bob didn't have to be great because his team was better.
Helped.
Which is really how Carolina's kind of been designed, to not rely on the goalie. Unfortunately, if your team is getting outplayed, as the Rangers were, it eventually gets through. Because you're not going to be able to be a brick wall forever. I mean, you're just not. So, and honestly, the Oilers have been way better than Florida the last 3 games. I anticipate that will continue the rest of the way tonight. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more about Game 7. Also, the Hurricanes have a lot of business to do over the next, week and a half or so. We'll get into some of that. And also the best game of yesterday that I think we should probably mention. Next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
I believe that dynasties are the most important thing to the success of a sport. I believe sports are at their peak when dynasties exist. I am so anti the idea of the parity in sports and, hey, we go into every single season. We don't know who's going to win it all. We have no favorites. It could be anybody. I hate that.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my man, Coach Pete DeRuta, Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex. If you needed your appendix out, you wouldn't take your own appendix out, right? Some people insist on planning for their own retirement when there's an expert like Pete DeRuta and the merry band of fiduciaries at Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex. That's right, they're in Apex, close to home. So all you have to do to unlock free stuff that you need is 888-843-0013. Just pick up the phone. Don't want human interaction? Text Adam to 600-700. Same difference. Here's what you get. A total customized retirement plan designed by Coach Pete DeRuta and company for your specific needs in retirement and getting to retirement. Whatever it is you want to do in the next phase of your life, you can do it, but you got to plan and you got to start now. 888-843-0013 for Coach Pete DeRuta or text Adam to 600-700 and plan for your retirement with the best, Coach Pete DeRuta.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah, crazy story. So I'm at the Nissan Thrill of Summer sales event when Dave, the sales guy, asks, want to test drive the Rogue? And I'm like, let's go. We're driving when Dave says, check out the VC turbo engine. I hit the gas and whoosh. I'm like, okay, I wasn't expecting that. Dave goes, if you think that's cool, watch this. Dave shows me the miles per gallon and I'm like, whoa, that's pretty impressive fuel economy. Dave mentions, these new cars are going fast. And in that moment, I had to have that Rogue. Crazy, right?
Wait till you hear how I got my Sentra.
Now get 2.9% APR financing for 60 months on Rogue. Shop the Nissan sales event. Visit your local Nissan store and nissanusa.com today. 2024 EPA fuel economy estimates from 28 city, 34 highway to 30 city, 37 highway for 2024 Nissan Rogue. Actual mileage may vary. For well-qualified buyers, 2.9% APR financing for 60 months on new 2024 Rogue in dealer stock. Example, 60 months financing is $17.92 per month per thousand financed. Actual down payment may vary. Subject to residency restrictions and in-mat credit approval. Not all buyers qualify. Dealer contribution may affect actual price set by dealer. Contact dealer for details. N7824.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at dewoutdoors.com and 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
Now at Circle K, get 2 Mountain Dews for just $4. That's 2 Dews for just $4 at Circle K. Do the Dew.
Did somebody say free diamond bracelet? That's right. Diamonds Direct is expanding upon their best offer yet. Make any purchase this month and receive a free diamond tennis bracelet valued at $2,000. That's right. Any engagement ring, any diamond necklace, any timepiece. Purchase any item valued at $10,000 or more and receive a stunning diamond tennis bracelet at no extra cost. Every purchase of $10,000 or more qualifies. So hurry into Diamonds Direct. Your chance to get a free tennis bracelet ends June 30th. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
Enjoy your summer even more by switching to Total by Verizon. Now you can get 50% off any unlimited data phone plan. That's one line for only $25 a month, and you keep the phone you love. Hurry! This is a limited time offer, so find a store or switch at totalbyverizon.com. Offer ends 7/31/24. Promo subject to cancellation after 12 months. Available exclusively online and in Total by Verizon stores. Requires a compatible unlocked device and SIM. See totalbyverizon.com for device compatibility and additional details. Taxes and fees may apply.
This is Adam Gold.
He said he could talk about his golf game. He did say it wasn't great, and I said, hey, no judgment here. I'm a drive shacker and a putt-putter myself.
None of us are good. Even those of us that are good aren't really good.
Right, yeah.
We're just not.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Bottom of the hour. You'll have to indulge my, geeking out. Ian McIntosh, who does the daily football briefing for The Athletic, will join us to talk a little bit about the European Football Championships, something that Rod Brind'Amour even mentioned it. We're into the last round of group play over in Europe. We'll talk about why England has been so disappointing, even though they haven't lost yet. A 1 win, 1 draw. The draw against Denmark was probably quite a disappointment. But we predicted it. We knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Because England just disappoint. It's coming home. It's never been there. They have won 0 Euros. 0. They have a World Cup in 1966. For all of their love of the sport, the fact that they have the best professional league in the world, their international level of success is quite thin. Their resume, quite thin. Anyway, we'll talk about Team England, if you will, with Ian McIntosh coming up at the bottom of the hour. Real quick, just a couple of quick thoughts on the United States win over Bolivia yesterday, which was 2-0 in a game that I thought had a lot of good in it. But it also had a lot of bad, and I'm going to run through this very quickly, and then we'll get to the best game of yesterday before we talk to Ian McIntosh. We'll also talk a little bit more about Game 7 and the Hurricanes. If you watched the 2-0 win over Bolivia yesterday, 2 things were obvious to me, and we'll see if they're obvious to you too. Christian Pulisic and Anthony Robinson, by far, America's 2 best players. There's almost no third player in the group. It was nice to see Tyler Adams get on the field He played the first 45 minutes. He'd only played I don't know how many games in the last calendar year. But he has been physically unavailable to his clubs and to Team USA basically for the last year. For those people who are just like picking up on where's Tyler Adams been playing? Well, the real answer is nowhere. But he was at Bournemouth this past season and only played in like 3 matches or something like that because he was hurt. He had a hamstring issue and he's just not been able to get back on the field. But he started and he played 45 minutes yesterday, and that was great to see. But Christian Pulisic and Anthony Robinson, by miles, are the United States' 2 best players. It's not that surprising. Pulisic was one of the best 11 players in Serie A this year at AC Milan, at his best club season ever. And Robinson has been a mainstay at left back for Fulham to the point where this year you're starting to hear a lot more interest in him at bigger clubs in the Premier League. You know, he grew up in the Fulham system, so it might be a place he just stays. But he is good enough to branch out and leave Fulham, a mid-table club, a club that has occasionally and has been in the championship. As a matter of fact, just a couple of years ago, they bumped up from the championship. But he is awesome. But those are the only 2 players for the United States that look world-class to me yesterday against Bolivia. The United States has a center back problem. They were really poor, I thought, in central defense. They have to finish more of the chances that Pulisic and Robinson created yesterday. Ricardo Pepi could have had a hat trick. He had a hat trick of, how did you not score that? It should have been 4-0 last night. At the worst, it should have been 4-0. And those goals will matter, or the lack of goals will matter if it matters whether or not the United States wins their group. Group C, I think they're in. So if it comes down to a draw with Uruguay next Thursday, I believe. The next match, no, Thursday, Monday. Next Monday, a week from tonight, if they draw with Uruguay and it comes down to goal differential, the fact that they didn't get 4 or even 5 against Bolivia last night will matter. But again, it probably doesn't matter because you're going to have to play Brazil and then Colombia in your next 2 matches, one or the other. Colombia first, then Brazil, Brazil first, then Colombia, just to get to the Copa America final, which, frankly, if you win one quarterfinal match, I think that Copa America was a huge success. But so there are some issues within the team. They need to be better. Even Gio Reyna didn't look awesome last night. They need him to be better. But ultimately, the way that Pulisic played, I remember a year ago, 2 years ago, everybody was mad. Christian Pulisic, isn't that? I was that way. Man, he was awesome yesterday. And Anthony Robinson was also awesome yesterday. So they're going to need a little bit more from some of their other players, like Reyna, like Weston McKennie, like Tim Weah, who was good but not amazing. And I'm not sure. Hopefully they don't have a goalkeeper issue, but I'm not 100% on Matt Turner. Not 100%. But maybe it doesn't matter. Just don't stink. All right? Don't be bad. All right. The best game of yesterday was not soccer. It was not baseball. It was not anything other than WNBA basketball. The Liberty, not the Liberty, the Chicago Sky with Angel Reese and others, and the Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark and others. It was it was box office yesterday. Not only was the game itself great, but the 2 biggest stars in the game, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, balled. They were both amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
It's always fun watching them.
Oh, my gosh. Reese was, honestly, it was the best I have seen her play. Now, she has a very, very simple game. She is all around the basket. Everything she does is around the basket. But more credit to her, because everybody knows what you're going to get. You don't have to guess with Angel Reese. She had, I think, 26 points and 15 rebounds, and after the game, offered this.
No, I'm just hooping. I'm from Baltimore. This is what I do. Like, I come out and perform. I do whatever it takes to win every single day. This is what I love. I love this game.
She was tremendous last night after the game with Holly Rowe, the interview on the court. Reese was like, "I'm a dog. You can't teach this." So she is not afraid to tell you that she wins. As a rule, she wins. I ain't arguing. I am not arguing. She is an awesome player. She is a great representative of the WNBA. She is going to be a big part of this league's growth going forward. I know. Caitlin Clark. She was great yesterday. Not as good in the fourth quarter, but maybe because she deferred to her teammates a little bit too much. I don't know. But I just think Chicago was better. If you watch the game, it was a tremendous show. Indiana played a great third quarter, went on an enormous run to take a 15-point lead at one point. I think Chicago scored the last 5 points of the third quarter and then just rolled in the fourth. And here's Clark on the rivalry with Reese.
I'm pretty sure the only people that view this as a rivalry is all of you. Like, for us, like, it's just a game of basketball. Like, that's what it is. And if it's going to help move the game forward, absolutely. Like, that's amazing. That's what it should be. Like, people could talk about it. I mean, yeah, I think I saw the ticket prices. I guess the only thing is, like, I'm surprised we're not playing at the United Center. I thought that would have been really good for the game and really good for all the women's basketball fans in Chicago. So, like I said, if that's what's going to help the game move forward, absolutely. And I think the two prior matchups have really lived up to what everybody expected and just really great basketball games, honestly.
All right, that was actually before. That was like a pre-game press conference, right? Or maybe a day before. So they didn't play the game at the United Center, which seats about 20,000. They did have just under 10,000, whatever the arena is called, where the Chicago Sky play their games. And they packed it. An average ticket price, secondary market, of $351. And they sold it. They filled the building.
Wow, impressive.
I mean,
big difference.
There
than
were
a few years ago.
Big time stars, big time, like there were celebs there too, right? But a tremendous atmosphere, a great basketball game, stirring comeback, went right down to the wire. Everything good about it. The reason why they couldn't move the game to the United Center, and they would have, was that Justin Timberlake had concerts there Friday and Saturday, and there was another concert there yesterday. So the United Center was otherwise booked.
Yeah. Is he still touring right now? Justin Timberlake? It's a good question.
That is a very good question.
He's a little busy.
That is a very good question, yes.
It's weird that we would talk about lawsuits and it not be, or courtroom and it not be about the NCAA, but yeah.
Timberlake had a rough, what?
It was like a week
ago?
or so. Yeah. Yeah.
The Hamptons. Hey, the Hamptons is a wild place.
Yeah, it'll do it to you, I guess.
The Hamptons is just an absolute wild place. All right, before Ian McIntosh joins us to talk a little bit about the European Soccer Championships, or the European Football Championships, as I like to call them, real quick about the Carolina Hurricanes. I know we got a Game 7 tonight, but we have a week before free agency begins in the National Hockey League. July 1, all of those free agents that Carolina has are the unrestricted free agents. The Jake Gensels, the Brady Sheas, the Brett Pesces, the Jordan Martinooks, the Steph Nasons. These guys can all sign with anybody. The Hurricanes have 6 more days of exclusivity with all of these players. Here's my guess. I hope, and I've said this before, and there are probably some other UFAs that I've forgotten there. Teuvo Teravainen. That's a big one. there are some of them that the Hurricanes definitely want back and think that they will be able to retain. And the three I think that they will be able to retain or could if they wanted to, Martinook, Nason, and I think Teuvo Teravainen. I don't know what kind of a free agent market there's going to be for Teravainen. I don't think it'll be as robust as everybody thinks. I could be wrong. But I think they'll be in with a shout on all three of those. I don't see Jake Gensel. I don't see Brady Shea. I don't see Brett Pesce. I think those are three big-ticket items, and Carolina, even though they don't have a cap problem, they have issues that they have to deal with unless they want to move on from Jesperi Kotkaniemi, unless they can move Freddie Anderson out and replace him with a goaltender who either makes less money or is a better goalie. Like that has to happen anyway. So they don't necessarily have cap issues, but it's not like they have tons of money to spend. And remember, Seth Jarvis is going to eat up a sizable percentage of whatever next year's salary cap is, right? He is going to, whether he gets a bridge deal or the full 8 years, and I hope it's the full 8 years, because maybe it's a little bit more to start, but it's going to be much cheaper down the road. I wouldn't push it out 2 years. I would do it now. I would not wait at all. Anyway, there's a lot that the Hurricanes are going to have to do, and I just don't see them signing those three players specifically. I do think that you can get Martinook. I do think that you can get Nason, and depending on what July 1st has for Teuvo Teravainen, I can see him coming back. But, man, as Rod Brind'Amour said earlier, it's going to be a very different-looking team. Here is my opportunity to geek out a little bit more about the European Football Championships. Ian McIntosh, the presenter for the Daily Football Briefing on The Athletic. So I am an original listener. It was just created a year ago. I was listening to Tim Spears, Michael Bailey, Adam Leventhal, occasionally Adam Zimmerman, and now Ian McIntosh, a name I've heard as a producer. You're now the sole presenter of the Daily Football Briefing. Is that true?
I'm the only one we can afford because I'm free.
You've been doing podcasts and whatnot for a long time. So this is great stuff. And it's about, anywhere from 12 to 15 minutes of all the stuff you need, right?
I tell you, not even that now. It's everything you need to know about the world of football in under 10 minutes, or I will stab myself in the leg with a fork. That is an absolute promise. We never go above 10 minutes because we want to fit into your life.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're asking me, I mean, I've got like a 45-minute commute, so you can go 15. Just think about it.
4.5 times.
I absolutely can. All right, let's start with what we are all, I think, interested in, and that's England. At the European look, as it's been presented, they're 1-0. It's not like their record is bad, right? They're fine. They're in good shape. They're going to win their group, but it's still not enough for a lot of people, kind of including me, because I think they should be better. What is the prevailing thought? Not the crazies, but what is the prevailing thought among people like you and the guys I already mentioned who are past hosts of the Daily Football Briefing?
So the prevailing feeling is that this is very, very bad. This is not just a sort of outlier of the loudest people on Twitter. People are genuinely stunned at how bad it's been, because Gareth Southgate, when he came in, did an extremely good job of changing the culture of the England team. There was a culture of fear. There were historically underwhelming performances, much like we've seen in the last few days, and it paid dividends very quickly. In 2018, England made the semi-finals of the World Cup. In 2021, they, of course, made the final of the European Championships. And they were very unfortunate, really, in the World Cup in 2022, just to run up against France and miss a penalty. So everything so far has been good. And I think that's why it's such a shock, because it's the level of the performance. England have been extremely lucky. They took the lead against Serbia and then sat back, and the game very nearly got away from them. They were very fortunate to hang on. And Denmark were by far the better team in the 1-1 draw there. So it's incredibly fortunate thus far. And the frustrating thing is you're seeing a lot of very, very good footballers who are at a fraction of the level that they show in the Premier League.
Yeah, there's no question. One of which is playing out of position, at least in terms of what he plays in the Premier League. And I will say this, the only time I miss episodes of the Daily Football Briefing are occasionally after Liverpool disappointing performances. So that leads me into Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's a right back and a dynamic one for Liverpool, but is now playing in a basically central midfield role, at times deep lying, more of a defensive mid, maybe dual sixes with Declan Rice, which I don't see that as a position for Trent. He's been good, but he's not nearly as good as when he's playing right back for Liverpool. So it's okay to not play him if he wants to play Kyle Walker, right?
Yeah, exactly. And this is a funny one because Trent Alexander-Arnold's long been spoken of a man who will gradually convert from fullback into centre mid. He's got a wide range of talents at his disposal. But with Kyle Walker in extraordinary form, I mean, he's digging into his 30s now and he's still so quick. There's no room for him there. I don't think, The Athletic is reporting that Conor Gallagher will replace Trent Alexander-Arnold in the team, which would seem to me to be a good move. We don't seem to be able to beat the press at the moment. We saw a very aggressive high line from Denmark that was just preventing England from having any sort of control over the game. And I think the hope is that extra energy from Conor Gallagher, that extra mobility, will hopefully bring out some better performances in Declan Rice as well, who's been very, very under par, and give England at the very least just a base upon which to build something approaching a competent performance.
Yeah, it would be nice to see Cole Palmer maybe see the pitch. Maybe in the last match of the group stage, although England has to win because they put them, probably have to win because they put themselves in a little bit of a difficult spot. But there's a lot of talent on this team that isn't getting utilized.
Yeah, absolutely. And in a way that could be a good thing that we've got Luke Shaw, a natural left back, to come back in place of Kieran Trippier.
Is he coming back?
I hope so.
Because if he's not, I mean, there's no other left backs in the country other than Kieran Trippier. He wasn't great as a right back for Newcastle this year.
It's not looking great, but you're right in that Slovenia is a game that England should win. Yeah. The rumor is that Benjamin Šeško, their star striker, is struggling with an injury, and it is a game England should be winning anyway.
Right.
Historically, I guess the one note of caution you can sound to the doomsayers is that England do have a habit of starting poorly in their best tournaments. Going back through the years, 1996 and 1990, they started very, very slowly and gradually found their way. It could be that these changes that presumably will come in for the Slovenia game will energize them and bring something in. But right now, the mood is very, very low.
Ian McIntosh from the Daily Football Briefing and The Athletic is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. You should download it and listen every day. It's under 10 minutes. That's at least 10 minutes too short for me. All right. First of all, real quick on England. Is it, winning the European Championships or losing it? Is there any middle ground there?
Well, with any kind of cup tournament, yes, there should be, because it's not always the best team that wins. Right. I think the expectation is for a nation like England with the Premier League, with the population size, with the level of coaching, that England should always be in a position where they can reasonably and rationally say, yes, we can win it. Actually winning it is a step further and sometimes requires a little bit of luck. But looking at the squads, for me, at the beginning of the tournament, France and England were in the strongest positions with the strength they had in their squad. I think Spain have taken a few people by surprise, that they are much further down the road than anyone expected. But it is a cup tournament, and so you never know.
Yeah, by the way, a Germany-Spain quarterfinal, which it looks like that's what we're going to see, barring an upset, should be awfully tasty. All right, is the second most interesting story what seemingly is going to be the swan song for Ronaldo and I think a loaded Portugal side?
Yeah, it was very interesting watching their performance on Saturday. Ronaldo is pretty much static these days, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. He obviously has extraordinary close control, ability to read the game, and I think you saw with that very unexpected act of selflessness when he had a very good opportunity to score and instead set up Bruno Fernandes. He does still have a lot to offer, but you do watch that Portugal team and you think, if he wasn't there, would they be better? If they had someone with way more mobility and speed, would they be better? Or is he such a figurehead of this side that his mere presence enables the team to sort of feel stronger, enables opposition teams to always fear that he's going to pop up somewhere? He hasn't done so far, it has to be said. But that was I think, quite an instructive sight, the sight of him turning down that very good opportunity to score. He's obviously very consciously trying to be there for the rest of the team.
Oh, there's no question. This part of the celebration when Portugal came on late in the one sub, the young kid, off a feed from Pedro Neto from Wolverhampton, created that goal that put them ahead, and he seemed to be genuinely excited for everybody else. I agree. I'll be surprised. Is he going to play going to play the full 90 again? Or are we running the risk of wearing him down? Or does he just not move around enough on the field during the match that we shouldn't even be worried about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very, very good point. He's not exactly putting the miles underneath his feet. There was a very good article in The Athletic which spoke to a lot of his former coaches to ask the question, what's it like to actually manage Cristiano Ronaldo? Because, it's not easy. He is not shy about his own abilities or his own sense of importance, as well you might expect for a player of such astonishing caliber. It looks from the way Roberto Martinez has handled him right from the start that he is just going to treat him like a hero all the way through and never really never move from that strategy. If that is the best way of getting the best out of Ronaldo and most importantly the rest of the team, then that's something that's going to pay off over the tournament. I suspect it probably is the path of least resistance for Martinez, who, lest we forget, came from a very big Belgium squad with some very, very big personalities that can't have been easy to manage. This is, I guess, almost a shortcut of making sure that the team spirit stays sound.
Yeah, speaking of Belgium, they got off to a slow start. They bounced back, but I'm not sure that they've got enough to get over the line for them. Real quick for Ian McIntosh before we let you go, and I appreciate this and I hope we can do it again. Who else, maybe on the other side of the bracket, because all three of those sides that we've already mentioned, Spain, Germany, Portugal, are all in the upper half of the knockout round. Who else do you like in the European Championships?
I tell you, the team that I've really, really enjoyed watching has been Georgia, who I have to confess I've never watched them before, but the spirit in that side, I thought they were absolutely fantastic, even losing 3-1 to Turkey. Mm-hmm. They have, I think, probably the best counter-attack in the tournament, the speed with which they move the ball up the pitch. And in their goalkeeper, whose name I'm definitely going to say wrong, but Mamardashvili, I think is how you say it. Who is a man mountain, 6'6". I'm told one of the best keepers in La Liga last season. He's definitely heading for a big transfer, and it's the joyfulness in their supporters that they're here at this first tournament and they're giving it a really good go. And without wanting to come full circle, there isn't the feeling among England supporters that we're giving it everything we've got. But you saw Scotland last night throw everything at it and go out. You see, whatever happens to Georgia when this group stage ends, they've thrown everything at it. England haven't got that feeling right now. There's still too much left in the locker.
Ian McIntosh, Daily Football Briefing, The Athletic. I appreciate it. I'd give your Twitter handle out, but your pinned tweet from 2 years ago is your most recent tweet. So nobody, you apparently don't really do much with at Ian McIntosh _. But there it is, just in case anybody wants to go read what Ian said in 2022. Hey, thank you very much for the time. I appreciate it. I'll be listening, and we'll talk again soon.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
I had a good time.
I know.
I'm totally into the Euros. It's my favorite soccer tournament in the entire world. It's more, I dig it more than I dig the World Cup. And I've enjoyed Copa America. We have not seen, in either of these events, we have not seen a ton of great. We've had some individual great matches, but we're going to get into them when we get to the knockout round coming up soon. By the way, Georgia's got Portugal next toward the middle of the week. That ain't going to go well. Even Portugal playing their B team, which they will be able to do since they have already clinched the top of Group F. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll stretch. We have bets to place. I will tell you what's going to happen in Edmonton and Florida, Game 7 tonight. Next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
At North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, we like calling North Carolina home because being local matters. It's why in every county, we have agents whose hometown is your town. That means we're there when you need us most, with personal service you'd expect from a friend or neighbor. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance. Helping you is what we do best.
Virtual healthcare is changing the way that traditional medicine is being delivered. Ironically, treating some people from afar is actually increasing access to medical health. Dr. Matt Anderson is with Charlotte-based Advocate Health, a member of the North Carolina Healthcare Association. He says telehealth is enhancing the ability of doctors and nurses to treat more people in better ways.
What we've really tried to do is build out that infrastructure from a virtual standpoint to enable us to better impact the health of our communities in a more convenient, simple, and easy way.
Learn how telehealth methodologies are not only saving people money, but how virtual medicine is transforming lives and the health of our communities. I'm Christine Bellino. Join me and my guest, Dr. Matt Anderson, for the latest edition of Conversations on the State of Healthcare, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association. And for more information, listen to our podcast on the North Carolina News Network and visit nchealthcare.org.
You wouldn't ask your mechanic to help stage your property for an open house. As NC Realtors, we're experts who make buying or selling property easier for you. Using the latest technology and armed with local insights, our realtors help you find properties you would want to call home. We also know which details make your property more attractive to other buyers. From start to finish, our realtors know. Find out more at ncrealtorsknow.com.
The North Carolina Zoo in Asheboro is excited to announce that the Canine Champions for Conservation is back for a second year. This guest favorite experience features rescue dogs performing thrilling agility challenges to raise awareness and support for wildlife conservation efforts. Shows run now through Labor Day weekend and are free with entry to the North Carolina Zoo. To learn more about this tail-wagging experience and other zoo-related activities, visit nczoo.org. Plan your next zoo adventure today.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Our public power providers in North Carolina keep the power on 99.9% of the time. That averages out to be less than 1 hour a year without power. Public power line workers who work day and night, rain or shine, are key to that unbeaten reliability. Better reliability, fewer outages, faster restoration. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Investing in primary care makes sense. Without additional investment in family medicine and primary care, the foundation of our healthcare system is at risk, leading to higher costs and lower quality care. By improving access to primary care, costs are lower, quality is higher, and death rates from cancer, heart disease, and strokes go down. It's time for North Carolina to invest in primary care. To learn more, go to primarycarenc.org. This message is brought to you by the North Carolina Academy of Family Physicians.
Some call it overplanning. At Alternative Power, we call it foresight. Be prepared for the next power outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Generac, it's not just a generator, it's a power move. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
Jumpstart your retirement
about savings at WeSaySaveIt.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
This is Adam Gold.
North Carolinians wagered $659,308,541 on sports.
It's a little bit.
Treat it as entertainment only. Just look at it as fun.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Brooke Pryor, top of the hour. We will talk NFL going to 18 games. They're going to do that. She talked to players about it, and we'll talk to her about her conversation with players about an 18-game schedule. But right now, it's time to stretch.
Okay, so I bring this one up. I'm starting things off because you were supposed to go see him this weekend, and he did not perform. So Willie Nelson,
yes, he canceled.
Yes, so he's actually canceled his first 3 Outlaw Music Festival appearances due to sickness. Now, there's no word on it exactly, but this article says it's, quote, per doctor's orders that he sit out. So his son Lucas...
It was 1 billion degrees yesterday.
I know. I mean, I probably would have passed out myself if that were the case. So, performed in his place, and apparently he should be back at it in about a week. Also, they point out that Willie is 91 years old. So
he literally,
so there's
he
that.
would have died on stage.
Right. But I guess he's going to give it a go here in a week or so. So I don't know what the illness is, but yes, he is recovering.
I think that show is inside the Arctic Circle.
Yeah. Well, and another show that's still going on, which I don't know for how much longer, Justin Timberlake had a few poor choice words in Chicago recently because he played 2 shows.
He did.
At the
Friday and Saturday.
Yes, at the United Center in Chicago. And during the second show on Saturday, he thanked his fans for sticking with them. And there's this long quote, thanks for being there with me. We've grown up together. It's beautiful, all this stuff.
Right.
And then he said, I can't find the words to show my gratitude that you guys just keep riding with me.
Ooh.
And riding with me. So
What?
I don't think anybody needs to be riding
And
with
that
Justin.
in and of itself is dangerous.
So, yeah. But we've got some maybe not so dangerous or dangerous
not
bets
at all.
to make.
Place your bets. Place your bets. Here we are. I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
All right, let's do this.
All right. Well, all on the ice for me. So I do have a future if I do have Connor McDavid getting the Conn Smythe Award. That was plus 700, so we'll see if that happens. But I think maybe an anytime goal scorer, this is a stretch because he hasn't scored in a minute, unless it was off his leg. Zach Hyman, anytime goal scorer, plus 140.
All right, there are a lot of great anytime goal scorer choices, but I'm just going to make it very simple. This game is they're dead even. They're both minus 110. Pick 'em game. Edmonton wins over 5.5 goals plus 302.
Oh, nice. Well, that was actually my bet too. But my other one is, will there be an overtime? I'm just going to say yes because I want more hockey. How great would that be?
Oh,
Game
my gosh.
7 to go into overtime? So why not? Yes, more OT plus 310.
All right, let's. We'll go back to hockey in a second. Today, Euros, Croatia, Italy. Italy can finish second in Group B with a draw. They'll get that against Croatia plus 200.
Nice. And let's just, why not, throw it out there. Highest scoring period, third period, plus 210.
All right, here we go. Connor McDavid, anytime goal. Zach Hyman, anytime goal. Sam Reinhart, anytime goal. Edmonton to win, plus 27.51.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold from my friend Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary, the man who helped me save, about $50,000 in not paying closing costs over the 25 years that I have owned homes here in North Carolina. I met Gordon in 1999, and we have become great friends, and I have never paid a dime in closing costs. Now we'll stop talking about that and talk about something that is even more important to Gordon right now. As somebody who has beaten cancer, he wants you to do the same. The best way for you to do it, early detection. So men, don't wait for those moments where you're not feeling so great. Same for women. Go get yourself checked. Prostate cancer, breast cancer, colon cancer, doesn't matter. Early detection is your best weapon against cancer. So go see your doctor. Go see a doctor and make sure that you're going to be around for a long, long time. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS ID 2502146.
It's bow time. Listen up, because we've got some big news to share. You might want to sit down for this. Bow Sauce is back at Bojangles. If you think you missed it, just imagine how our Supremes must have felt. Because there's no better sauce to pair with our crispy golden chicken Supremes. They're already boldly seasoned to perfection, but add Bow Sauce and you can taste a truly legendary combination that will make you want to yell, "It's bow time." So don't wait. Grab a Supreme and dip into some Bow Sauce. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing to satisfy your craving for flavor with a Bojangles Chicken Supremes dinner. Choose a 3-piece or 4-piece Supremes dinner. Get your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea. And don't forget the sauce for dipping, because Bow Sauce is back. That's right, Bow Sauce is back. Hungry for flavor and value and love the Bow Sauce? Then it's bow time.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? On America's birthday weekend? Why not stop by America's #1 brakes destination? Right now, you can save 15% when you buy a set of OE quality Duralast pads and rotors, and up to 50% when you bundle Shop Pro brake cleaner and brake fluid with Sil Glide brake lubricant. It's just part of our 4th of July sale at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at dewoutdoors.com. Ends 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
Now at Circle K, get 2 Mountain Dews for just $4. That's 2 Dews for just $4 at Circle K. Do the Dew.
What is dedication?
I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov.
CertaPro Painters knows how important your home is to you. That's why they're focused on helping you bring a fresh color to your home. And you know you can trust CertaPro Painters to get the job done right, even in those hard-to-reach places. I'm Adam Gold. I had them do my house one time, and we have vaulted ceilings. They did it all. And each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. In other words, they live right here in our community. You can schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
This hour of buzzer-beating, nail-biting, edge-of-your-seat sports action on 99.9 The Fan is powered by
Ritchie Law Firm Injury Lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show.
And the 2-2 to Stark. In the air to left. That ball is well hit. Sorrell going back. He looks up, and it's gone! The first hit for Cal Stark at the College World Series is a 2-run homer in a must-win game in the 8th inning. And a 4-1 lead for Tennessee.
And they will settle things tonight, starting at 7 o'clock in Omaha. 8 o'clock tonight, we'll start watching Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Edmonton trying to complete a historic rally from 3-0 down to beat the Florida Panthers, who seemed poised to win their first ever Stanley Cup. And I would love nothing more than to see Paul Maurice get his name on the Stanley Cup for the first time. To me, just an incredibly good coach and a great guy, and I want to see him get a title. But, man, I don't think it's going to happen tonight because I just see Edmonton as skating downhill and essentially a runaway freight train. I just don't know how Florida's going to stop them unless Sergei Bobrovsky becomes that guy again, and that's really what the Panthers need. They're going to need Bobrovsky to buy them the first period. If he can do that, I think Florida can maybe get out in front of the game. But, man, it is going to be very difficult the way the Oilers have been playing. Top to bottom in the lineup, they have been dangerous. I think it's going to be very difficult for the Panthers to hold them down. All right, last week I saw a story on ESPN.com that spoke to me because I have been talking about this for a while. We said it a couple of years ago when the NFL decided, you know what? 17 is really just one more game than 16. What's the big deal? We'll give some players some cookies, and they'll take cookies because who doesn't love cookies? And they did. They don't want it. They don't like it. But, man, you know what? You give us some cookies, we're going to eat them. But we all knew that it was the precursor to go to 18, and here comes Roger Goodell at the draft once again, floating that regular season game is so much better than a preseason game. Aha. We said it was going to happen. We knew it was going to happen. It's going to happen, but the players have to negotiate how it happens. Brooke Pryor wrote that story for ESPN. She interviewed players with the Steelers about the additional game, and she is here to talk about that and other things with us. She joins us. How are you, Brooke?
I am great. I am thrilled to be currently living in a world where there aren't 18 games because thinking about that just makes me exhausted already. I don't want to change the schedule, the off-season schedule, the regular season schedule. I like things the way they are. Too much change nowadays.
Well, yes, but it's interesting you say that because I agree with you, and there's some discussion about altering the off-season as well. Frankly, I don't for the life of me know why we drag players in the middle of the summer back in, 6 to 8 weeks before training camp to have practice for no reason other than they clearly don't trust players to have an off season, but that's another matter. You talk to players about the 18th game, which I think most of them probably feel is an inevitability. So tell us what your general takeaway from those conversations was.
Yeah, well, the first thing that I think is really interesting that I did not realize until I was doing research on this, that the idea of playing an 18th game has actually been around since about 2008.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a big reason why the lockout happened in 2011, because the owners voted to kind of end the CBA, that current CBA early and renegotiate with the players. And the players did not want that 17th and 18th game. And that led to the lockout. And it was really contentious. And eventually, they settle on things. They get a new CBA pass. The schedule does not expand. And then in 2020, when the CBA was up for negotiation, when the old one expired, the owners desperately wanted to go to 18 games again. And instead they negotiated and said, okay, we can expand by one game. We absolutely cannot go to 18 under this current CBA. So for it to be enacted, they would have to essentially rip up this current CBA, go back to the negotiating table, because this isn't like adding an amendment. This would be adding a whole a new constitution, essentially, because it's such a big material change to the CBA. So that's some important context here. And the players that I talked to, I think it was 46% were okay with it with stipulations. And those stipulations being things like adding another bye week, maybe changing the off-season schedule, and not only just getting another paycheck, game check, but getting a greater share of the revenue.
Yep.
Because right now players get 48%, owners get 52%, and it hasn't always been like that. It used to be much more even, and that was one of the things in some of the CBA negotiations of the last two cycles, that the balance has tipped in the favor of the owners. And so guys are saying, look, I understand that this 18th game is an inevitability at this point. If the league wants more football, the league is going to get more football. We need to get paid more. We're putting our bodies on the line. That was the thing that the guys that I talked to who were very against it all brought up the idea of player safety. You know, how can the league say we care about player safety and we're going to add another regular season game and make the schedule last even longer? And then the other point with the eliminating preseason games to add the regular season game, Minkah Fitzpatrick said, look, I don't really play in the preseason games anyway. This doesn't do anything for me. This is it's all geared toward the fans. And that's, I mean, especially where the idea of a President's Day weekend Super Bowl comes into play. Like, oh, it's great for the fans. Yeah, you have Monday off. But I think the players are frustrated that it feels like nothing is being done. Being done is considering how it affects them. And I think that's where the ones that are saying no right now feel like the league is saying one thing and doing another.
No, it's funny. It's such an easy PR win for Roger Goodell in the NFL when he goes, oh, man, regular season game so much better than preseason, as though those two things have anything to do with each other. But fans who in some cases are forced to buy preseason tickets at full value, or who otherwise, like, who cares about watching that? I don't know any of the players who are playing in it anyway. They're probably not going to be on the roster for the most part. It's an easy PR win for the NFL, but ultimately it's a bad deal for the players, because I know some of the guys that you talk to. Brooke Pryor is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show, and she wrote the piece about the 15th game and what the players think about it on ESPN.com. There were some players said, yeah, I'll take the extra paycheck. But I wonder, over time, what we'll find out is that the extra game may lead to enough injuries where some of those players might not get any more paychecks. So is it worth I don't think they should have a 17th game, let alone 17 and 18. But is extending the season or that extra paycheck, is that enough of a carrot to shorten careers? And I just don't think it's enough. And it comes down to the fact that so many players need the paycheck, so they don't have the ability, the discipline to stay out and really cost themselves an entire season with a work stoppage.
Exactly, and I think the other interesting thing is, yes, they're getting this carrot dangled in the extra game check, but like you said, it can shorten careers. And not only that, but when you look at, I think players have to play 4 or 5 years to be fully vested and get access to all of the benefits that you get as an NFL, as someone that retires in the NFL as a fully vested veteran. Those benefits, in terms of health care and insurance coverage and things like that, were huge parts of what was negotiated in the 2020 CBA. And so it kind of feels like that in adding an 18th game, it undoes a lot of the things that were added for player benefit in the last round of negotiations. It feels so extreme to say, well, just one game a season. How can that cut somebody's career short by that many years and keep them from this many things? But every player, unfortunately, is a play away from a significant life-changing injury. And so I absolutely understand where they're coming from. It feels like in a lot of ways that the league is a runaway train that is just doing whatever it wants, railroading everything for the sake of money. And for fans, like, I get it too. Like, I'm not just a journalist. I'm a consumer of sports. I love watching the NFL. I'm sad when the season is over. The preseason is as much of a slog for me as it is for everybody else. But we also have to recognize that while we as consumers are probably like, oh my gosh, this is just a terrible fake version of football, it's also the way that some of these end of roster guys make the roster is by impressing staffs in these preseason games. And for some of these, guys that are either late round draft picks or UDFAs, this is their way to break into the league. And if you do away with more games, that decreases their opportunities. So it kind of cuts careers short on both sides when you go about it in this way.
Brooke Pryor from ESPN is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. What's interesting is that I heard Roger Goodell talk about this. Like, they could extend the season by a week by simply sticking another bye week in right now, right? You could certainly put 2 bye weeks, but the league basically said, well, the last time we did that, because there was a year with 2 bye weeks, was that the networks didn't like it because there weren't as many options for them at the end of the year. I'm like, well, you're playing 5 days a week now. Like, you get to the end of the season and you're playing, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Well, that's 4 days a week. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Thursday. So of course you're thin. You're stretched out, so thin. But if they're really into player safety, get rid of the Thursday games.
Well, shoot! Don't forget this year there's 2 Christmas Day games on a Wednesday. The Steelers are one of the teams that go from a Saturday game to a Wednesday game, and let me tell you, they are not thrilled about it. They don't care that we're playing and it's not prime time. I think it's a 1 p.m. kickoff. Playing on a holiday, that doesn't really get the players fired up. Right. Not to mention player safety, but also spending time with families and things like that. It's, and I know that there are fans who say, well, look at these paychecks, right? I mean, they're making millions of dollars. This
not
is
all
just
of them.
A sacrifice you have to make. But not every player is making that. And there's also, I think, just this idea that, they're putting their bodies on the line for entertainment. And that's, again, I love football. My whole job life revolves around the sport. But there's some pretty, ugly realities with the sport, and it's hard to be an NFL player with the way things are trending, adding more games, restructuring off seasons, not adding a second bye week at this point. I understand their frustration.
All right, final thing for Brooke Pryor, and this is kind of out of left field. I didn't tell you we were going to talk about this, but I'm just curious. Boy. No, it's fine. It's not crazy. Trevor Lawrence just signed a $55 million annual contract, basically tying him with Joe Burrow among quarterbacks for the highest annual value. It will eventually at one point be Patrick Mahomes again, because he'll elevate to that because he should. Who's the next quarterback to get one of those deals? Ooh. And frankly, we can discuss whether or not Trevor Lawrence is worth $55 million annually, because I don't think so, but that's another story altogether. Is it Tua? Is it Josh Allen, who comes back to the Bills and gets a contract that he probably deserves because he's in the low 40s right now, and it just seems like, man, he's basically in Daniel Jones territory, and that doesn't seem fair. Who's the next one to get really paid?
I think it will end up being Tua. If I'm the Miami Dolphins, I'm not making that deal, but that's also why I'm not cutting any checks.
Right.
I'm too concerned with Tua's injury history. I'm too concerned with the concussion history. I think that he, again, is one play away from his career being over. But the other thing is I have such a big pet peeve of the constant news cycle being so-and-so reset the market, and then 2 weeks later somebody else resetting the market, and then somebody else being the highest paid. This is going to keep happening because the salary cap is going to keep increasing from these TV deals and the revenue the league is bringing in. I mean, if they go to 18 games, it's going to get even bigger. And so I think that Tua will end up making this kind of money because that's just what the market is dictating right now. Even if maybe his play and the projection of his play, because you don't pay guys for what they've done, you pay them for what they can do and what you think they will do. The Dolphins think that Tua will take them to a Super Bowl. Otherwise, you don't him that money, but also the reality is you have to have a good quarterback to compete. Tua is a good quarterback, and this is just the price of doing business in the current NFL. I think, looking around the league at the up-and-coming guys. I know we only have one season of C.J. Stroud to kind of project off of,
right.
But man, he is playing like we're gonna see the headline of C.J. Stroud resets the market here in a couple years. But we have a ways off, so who knows? Maybe he'll make $1 billion, $1.5 billion, whatever it is. It's monopoly money
yes.
at this point, right? I mean, the numbers are going to be insane because that's the way the league works, and it's good for these guys. But this is still a quarterbacks league, and to try to win a Super Bowl, you have to have a good quarterback.
Brooke Pryor, our quarterback. $55 million annually is small change for you. Yeah, you'll settle for that. Just like apparently Trevor Lawrence said he left money on the table. I can't. I just can't. Brooke Pryor, you're the best. I appreciate your time. Enjoy your summer, and we'll talk to you. We'll bother you in the middle of it again.
Oh, please bother me anytime.
Thank you.
See ya.
You got it. Brooke Pryor here on the Adam Gold Show at BE Pryor on Twitter. How are Edmonton fans getting ready for Game 7 tonight?
They're already drinking.
Oh, my gosh.
They were throwing that stuff around within like 90 seconds of the game.
They are. That is a great town.
Oh,
a
man.
super town.
So fun.
We'll go inside of Edmonton next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
If you love baseball as much as we do,
Play ball!
then you'll want to tune into 99.9 The Fan on Sunday nights this summer.
This one way back to left. Forget about it. It's gone.
Atlanta to Philly, St. Louis to L.A. Major League Baseball's best matchups will come to life.
Ground ball diving stop at third by Turner from his knees. He throws on to first and gets him.
Sunday Night Baseball on 99.9 The Fan is presented by Baker Roofing.
Hey, it's Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. If you're like me, you're getting crushed by rising costs of everything these days. I get it. It's brutal, and credit card rates are ridiculous and going higher. That's why at Loan Pronto, we launched our Express Equity line of credit to bring you the relief you and your family need, using your home, your most valuable asset. We've helped thousands of people like you get fast relief with cash. The average homeowner who does this gets tens of thousands in just days and is able to save $850 per month in overall expenses. I'm talking life-changing money. Your money that you have access to right now. Listen, if you're ready to get control of your finances and get off the hamster wheel, call Loan Pronto. You can get approved for Express Equity line of credit in just minutes, and we can get your cash in less than a week. Stop digging a deeper credit card hole today. Call Loan Pronto now. 919-381-1760. 919-381-1760. LoanPronto.com. 919-381-1760.
Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781. Subject to lender approval. NMLS consumeraccess.org.
Is that your new Nissan Rogue?
Yeah, crazy story. So I'm at the Nissan Thrill of Summer sales event when Dave, the sales guy, asks, want to test drive the Rogue? And I'm like, let's go. We're driving when Dave says, check out the VC turbo engine. I hit the gas and whoosh. I'm like, okay, I wasn't expecting that. Dave goes, if you think that's cool, watch this. Dave shows me the miles per gallon and I'm like, whoa, that's pretty impressive fuel economy. Dave mentions, these new cars are going fast. And in that moment, I had to have that Rogue. Crazy, right?
Wait till you hear how I got my Sentra.
Now get 2.9% APR financing for 60 months on Rogue. Shop the Nissan sales event. Visit your local Nissan store and nissanusa.com today. 2024 EPA fuel economy estimates from 28 city, 34 highway to 30 city, 37 highway for 2024 Nissan Rogue. Actual mileage may vary. For well-qualified buyers, 2.9% APR financing for 60 months on new 2024 Rogue in dealer stock. Example, 60 months financing is $17.92 per month per thousand financed. Actual down payment may vary. Subject to residency restrictions and in-mat credit approval. Not all buyers qualify. Dealer contribution may affect actual price set by dealer. Contact dealer for details. N7824.
Did somebody say free diamond bracelet? That's right. Diamonds Direct is expanding upon their best offer yet. Make any purchase this month and receive a free diamond tennis bracelet valued at $2,000. That's right. Any engagement ring, any diamond necklace, any timepiece. Purchase any item valued at $10,000 or more and receive a stunning diamond tennis bracelet at no extra cost. Every purchase of $10,000 or more qualifies. So hurry into Diamonds Direct. Your chance to get a free tennis bracelet ends June 30th. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
Get bonus days to save during Window Nation's semi-annual sale now through June 30th. Get 50% off all windows along with no interest for 5 years, plus a bonus 10% savings when you schedule an estimate. If your inefficient windows are costing you too much for air conditioning, that's a big deal. Now during Window Nation's semi-annual sale, you can replace them and save a big deal too. Offer ends June 30th, so schedule your in-home estimate now. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
This is Adam Gold.
Victoria, you played sports in high school, right?
Oh, yeah. Basketball, and I swam.
Could you imagine competing for $1 million?
No.
$1 million.
No. I competed for plastic trophies.
I was also a high school athlete, baseball player. No, and I could never even imagine it.
No.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. We got a Game 7 tonight. It will be on the radio here in Raleigh. Edmonton looking to complete a historic comeback. By the way, it's a historic, not an historic. Please, come on.
You don't need the N with the H. That's
Stop, people. But from the start, really toward the end of Game 3 to where we are now, the Edmonton Oilers have absolutely figured out the Florida Panthers. And I know it's an even game. It's a pick'em game. But, boy, it's hard for me to see Florida slowing them down unless Sergei Bobrovsky returns to the Bobrovsky that started the series. Kevin Karius from Sports 1440 in Edmonton joins us on the Adam Gold Show. You go all the way back to when Carolina and Edmonton squared off 18 years ago. But let's just start with this one. And I appreciate your time. But from just reading reports, nobody went to work Friday, right? Friday was a day off, wasn't it?
Yeah. Hey, Adam, good to be with you. Friday was basically a day off. I just got off my show. I'm 7 to 11 Mountain Time. Got off my show. Most of the people that we talked to or texted in were knocking off at noon. So, and then tomorrow, obviously, they hope they're not coming in, and who knows for the rest of the week. But I'm sure, Adam, you've seen like the watch parties in Ice District. People were lining up to get into what they call the Moss Pit, the Joey Moss Pit, at 9 o'clock this morning. That's not so it is here.
It's obvious. It's been a while. It's been since the Gretzky days, right? Since the Stanley Cup?
Yeah, so 1990 was the last cup. Gretzky was traded in 88.
Oh, that's right.
Fourth one. Yeah.
Messier got the last one and then hightailed it for New York.
Yeah, well, there were some stops in between. But, the 88, it's funny, in our monitor in the studio, I'm sure you've got them as well. They've been replaying on Sportsnet up here. They've been replaying all morning series and Stanley Cup clinching games for the Oilers. So they started, I was watching this morning at 8 o'clock, and it was 1984. 1987 happened. The Philadelphia Flyers, it was Game 7 here. And it's just to look back at all the success that the Oilers have had and to see, as you know, 18 years ago, how close the Oilers were and then how close they are again after being down 3-0. It's just a phenomenal atmosphere and hopefully a different story ending to what we saw with Carolina 18 years ago.
Kevin Karius, who just got off the radio about an hour and 20 minutes ago or so, as he was talking to people in Edmonton. So walk me back 3-0 down in the series. Were people, what were they like then? Did they still have belief? Did they think if they could get one, then they could get four? How were people talking about it when it was 3-0?
First of all, the team always had belief, and you could see that even after game number 3, and maybe saw it a little bit in the third period because it was 4-1. The Oilers get 2 goals, and they were goals that were different goals than they've scored. It was a goal by Phil Broberg that went off Mikolo's arm. It was a deflection by Ryan McLeod. So all of a sudden, you went, Bobrovsky, who was almost impenetrable, he's got some holes. You can score on him. And then obviously the blowout in Game 4, no one knew what was really going to happen in Game 5. But, I mean, since the third period of Game 3, the Oilers have totally dominated Florida. Outscored them 20-5. I mean, that's just a big, big number. And they got to Bobrovsky. They got to him. He had a 1.33 goals against average in games 1, 2, and 3. He's well over 5, just a shade over 5, I should say, in games 4, 5, 6. So they got to him. And hopefully they can get to him once again tonight.
Kevin Karius is joining us here. It's funny how people have talked about, and I'm trying to think I heard who I heard talking about it today. But it's been all Connor McDavid. And my feeling is that, well, sure, the numbers have been there, and I am not taking anything away from Connor McDavid, who is still the sun around which the rest of the National Hockey League revolves. But it's really the other guys that got them going. It was the Janmark shorthanded goal, Adam Henrique, Dylan Holloway, Warren Foegele, Connor Brown. These were the guys that scored the more impactful goals in games 4, 5, and 6 to get them going, and then the point production from McDavid took over. I'm not taking anything away from Connor, but I think we're selling some of the other guys short.
Adam, in 4 and 5, obviously no one's had back-to-back 4-point games like Connor McDavid had in the playoffs, and he has been putting this team on his back. But you're right. Some of the lesser lights, a guy like Connor Brown, who had a very tumultuous season, didn't score for 55 games. Warren Foegele has been great. Matthias Janmark has been outstanding. And one of the keys in this series was when Coach Chris Knobloch put a third line together of Adam Henrique between Matthias Janmark and Connor Brown. The three of them have been fabulous. And I look at it, I go even back to game number 5, and Chris Knobloch started that line. He started the Henrique line, so now Paul Maurice has the option to start whoever he wants. He said, I don't want any part of him. He put the Anton Lundell line to start the game. So no Barkov, no Reinhardt, no Kachuk. He didn't want anything to do with that. That to me, that told me that he didn't like the way the matchups would have gone that night. And it didn't matter anyway. But I just think this third line has been so key. They've contributed offensively, but they've been responsible defensively. And the penalty kill unit is one of the main reasons why this team is where it is right now.
They've allowed, one of their last 48, 49? What is the number? One of their last
47, I think.
At that point, it's the same, right? one for their last 47 and one for their last 49 to me is the same. What do you, obviously Stuart Skinner is playing very well. But what else is Edmonton doing with their penalty kill that has rendered Florida's power play completely anemic?
Mm-hmm. Well, it starts with Stu, and again in games 4, 5, 6, and 7 in the Stanley Cup playoffs, he's 10-0 with a 1.50 goals a game. So a lot of that comes on the penalty kill and the penalty kill success. What the Oilers do on their penalty kill is they picture an umbrella, and they have the top guy swinging top, left, top, right, depending on the puck movement of the opposition team. So the second forward, what happens is he has to have the read off his other line mate out there in the PK unit, and he's got to swing back. And what happens is they're negating certain cross-ice passes. Yeah. And again, the sticks in the lanes have been phenomenal. But that formula of having that top high man on the umbrella swinging and then the other guy filling in, but he has to make the correct read. And you saw the shorthanded goal that Connor Brown scored. He swings across and just gets enough because he's in the right position. He's anticipating what the opposition is doing, making the correct play, and it resulted in a shorthanded goal for him.
Do you think that, look, it was offside, so I'm not complaining. I'm certainly not complaining about the call I put on Twitter right after the fact. Like, look, it was offside. Doesn't make a difference if it was close or not. It was offside. Video showed that. But do you think the fact that Chris Knobloch didn't have to worry about Florida's power play, do you think that contributed to him going, yeah, let's challenge it?
100%. And we talked about that, on the weekend and, right after it happened, really in the press box. So what if they get a power play? Haven't been able to score on it. What's the difference? To me, and I agree with Paul Maurice. I was in the media center after the game. I agreed with Paul Maurice with the video that he saw. He goes, there's no way I'm challenging that. And I mean, it was such a close call. And he used the wrong, what did he say, the FBI or the CIA? He should have said CSI Miami. Should have been on it. Never mind.
Well, that is true. He did, but he did use CIA, which, you know what? Yeah. Who knows? Look, it was once I saw the video, I'm like, yeah, he's off. I mean, it's as close as it is, he's off. And it did have a feeling like that goal being disallowed, I thought was such a blow to the Panthers because that goal came so quickly after it was 2-0. If it's 2-1 right away, Florida gets a little momentum. Look, I know you're Kevin Karius. You're from Edmonton. This is potentially going to be one of the most monumental wins in franchise history, even with so much winning in its background. How would you sum up what something like this is going to mean to the Oilers, to Connor McDavid, who you can't be the greatest player of all time, and he's trending towards that, without having one of these in your back pocket? Mm-hmm. How would you sum up what something like this might be?
I'll tell you what, Adam, I'll take it a step further. If the Oilers were to complete this comeback, it's only been done once before, but that was back in 1942, Toronto Maple Leafs. And on that team, they had some guys with the best nicknames ever. They had Buckle McDonald. They had Bingo Campman. They had Turk Broda. They had Hap Day. They had Sweeney Schreiner. These are all ghosts that the Oilers are trying to play off of here. What would it mean? Well, I think it's even a step further in the sense that this would be the biggest comeback in sports history. The biggest comeback, not just in the NHL, but in sports history. You can talk about the 2004 Boston Red Sox and New York Yankees. That was a divisional championship. This wasn't for the World Series. This is for the Stanley Cup. This is, and I understand those are two iconic franchises in all of sport. And obviously the United States is way different than Canada. But to see a team come back from 3-0, where no one thought that this was even possible, when it happened in 42, they only played 2 series. I mean, those guys played 13 games, right? So to see a grind for 2 months, to me, I think it's the biggest comeback in all of sports history.
It would be the 26th. Tonight is the 26th playoff game for Edmonton, basically a third of the season.
Yeah. I mean, the grind, the travel that these guys have had to do, I mean, you think about the start of they're going to L.A. And it's like 3 hours and change. Vancouver, it's a closer flight, but it's still it's not like how Florida was tackling things with Tampa, and then we've been moving on, and then you got Dallas. That's a long flight. Yeah. These guys have been going back and forth, and I think that even this has helped them even more adjust. That's one of the things that has helped them adjust, because Florida hasn't had to do this all season long, really.
So
I think they've been only out of one time zone. I think, in the last several months before this series.
Kevin Karius, as we say goodbye. So would it be Bingo McDavid or Buckles McDavid if they pull this off?
Well, I think it would have to be Bingo, wouldn't it? Because he's yelling out Bingo. And, I mean, you think about where Connor was 4 years ago. And I don't know if the fans down there can get the opportunity to watch a documentary called Whatever It Takes. And it's about a 45-minute documentary. And it was all about Connor McDavid recuperating and recovering from what was almost very close. And people don't realize how close this was to a career-ending knee injury.
Yeah.
It was that close. And you look at him at where he is tonight, and it's quite remarkable.
It's unfair. He is an unstoppable force. Kevin Karius, 1440 Edmonton. Appreciate your time, sir. Have a good time tonight, and I hope the entire province of Alberta, even the folks in Calgary, have the next week off.
Hey, Adam, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
You got it, Kevin Karius. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little baseball when we come back. I didn't realize this. The Mudcats are moving from Five County Stadium to Wilson.
Yep.
We'll talk a little bit about that. There's obviously a lot of things going on out at Five County Stadium over the next couple of weeks. We're pretty close to the 4th of July holiday, and we'll work in a little baseball coming up next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam Gold from my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And even as the playoffs wind down in basketball and hockey, there's still stuff worth wagering on if you are so inclined. And FanDuel wants to give you incentive to just keep a little skin in the game. Open up the app and enjoy all summer long. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There is something for everyone every day all summer long. Go to FanDuel.com/AGS, FanDuel.com/AGS, and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Must be 21 or older and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Wager requirements apply. Bonuses awarded as non-withdrawable bonus bets or profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including bonus expiration. See terms and conditions at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Virtual healthcare is changing the way that traditional medicine is being delivered. Ironically, treating some people from afar is actually increasing access to medical health. Dr. Matt Anderson is with Charlotte-based Advocate Health, a member of the North Carolina Healthcare Association. He says telehealth is enhancing the ability of doctors and nurses to treat more people in better ways.
What we've really tried to do is build out that infrastructure from a virtual standpoint to enable us to better impact the health of our communities in a more convenient, simple, and easy way.
Learn how telehealth methodologies are not only saving people money, but how virtual medicine is transforming lives and the health of our communities. I'm Christine Bellino. Join me and my guest, Dr. Matt Anderson, for the latest edition of Conversations on the State of Healthcare, produced in partnership with the North Carolina Healthcare Association. And for more information, listen to our podcast on the North Carolina News Network and visit nchealthcare.org.
You wouldn't ask your mechanic to help stage your property for an open house. As NC Realtors, we're experts who make buying or selling property easier for you. Using the latest technology and armed with local insights, our Realtors help you find properties you would want to call home. We also know which details make your property more attractive to other buyers. From start to finish, our Realtors know. Find out more at ncrealtorsknow.com.
The North Carolina Zoo is celebrating 50 wild years in 2024. Voted top zoo in the nation, the North Carolina Zoo is centrally located in Asheboro. Bring your family for a day trip or a weekend excursion to connect with nature and make cherished memories. Discover towering giraffes, a herd of elephants, a crash of rhinos, and a flock of seabirds. Plus, ride an endangered species carousel and stroll through the exotic butterfly garden. Plan your next outdoor adventure at nczoo.org.
If you pay your city or town for electricity, you live in a public power community. Our public power providers in North Carolina keep the power on 99.9% of the time. That averages out to be less than 1 hour a year without power. Public power line workers who work day and night, rain or shine, are key to that unbeaten reliability. Better reliability, fewer outages, faster restoration. That's the value of public power. Learn more at electricities.com.
Healthcare is in crisis, but there is a solution. Adults with a primary care physician have 33% lower healthcare costs and better health outcomes. It's time to reinvest in family medicine and other primary care specialties, the foundation of our healthcare system. Let our state and our insurers know that it's time to increase investment in primary care. To learn more, go to primarycarenc.org. This message is brought to you by the North Carolina Academy of Family Physicians.
This is Adam Gold.
Thank you very much for your time, man. We will talk again.
Adam, anytime for you, my friend.
Thank you. I don't know why it makes me laugh. Why does that make me laugh?
I don't know. Maybe you just are used to people being mean to you or something, like Twitter. I don't know.
The Adam Gold Show.
Joined by David Lawrence, who is the general manager of the Carolina Mudcats. We're going to talk a little baseball here. First of all, you got two big homestand, big weekends coming up. So why don't we just start with what the people are going to see out there when they come out, and there's a lot of reasons, incentives to get people to come out.
Sure. Thanks, Adam. We appreciate you having us here and talking some baseball. I mean, now it's what, ramped up to about 99 degrees, so I mean it's appropriate seeing,
it's too hot to be alive.
It is hot. It is hot. But that is baseball weather to most folks. But yeah, this weekend coming up, we start a 6-game series tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But this weekend's Heroes Weekend for us. We've done it the past few years. On Friday, we honor first responders.
Mm-hmm.
On Saturday, it's military, and on Sunday, it's teachers. So we combine that into a weekend.
Yeah.
And
Go teachers!
It's absolutely.
Teachers.
I was just talking earlier. As the son and husband of teachers, yes, those folks are true heroes, certainly, and we'll honor them on Sunday. But on Saturday, if you come out, it's again as part of military appreciation. There's the first 1,000 folks through the gate get a camo Mudcats special military jersey.
Really?
They're awesome looking. I did not design them, so I'm not taking any credit for that. But our folks did a great job.
Nobody knew that. You could have taken credit.
I know, but I want to be fair. But that's on Saturday. CarolinaMudcats.com. You can see the ticket specials. It's $5 for your heroes, and then your family $7. So it's affordable. It's family. We want to honor all these heroes this weekend.
Still running around with two muddies, like a big muddy and a little muddy.
We have muddy and mini muddy.
Mini muddy.
So mini muddy, yes, is in the mix.
We were out there at my kid's middle school when he was in middle school a couple of years ago. We went out there for just an afternoon. Why? I don't know. It was a great field trip.
Yeah,
fun for me. And all he wanted to do, all his friends wanted to do, was take pictures with Mini Muddy.
Yes,
I think Big Muddy. Did they call him Big Muddy?
Just Muddy. Just Muddy.
It's like he had this wait, what about me? What about me kind of look on my face.
Yes, Minnie is quite the icon.
That's tremendous.
Yes.
David Lawrence, general manager of the Carolina Mudcats, is here. I had heard, I don't know why I wasn't more dialed in on this. I heard just last week that you guys are moving to Wilson.
We are. We're going to finish, of course, I say of course, like everyone should know, but we're going to finish this season in Zebulon. We're going to play next season, which is 2025 in Zebulon. And then our first season in a brand new downtown Wilson ballpark will be the 2026 season.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
I think it's awesome.
It's certainly exciting. I mean, yes, we have developed a great following, friendships, relationships in 30 plus years in Zebulon, but moving about 20 miles to the east.
It's not that long.
It's not, and so if you think. If you think for those that have seen and been to Fayetteville Stadium, which is relatively new, Canales, which is relatively new, using that as a model, that's going to be similar in many instances as to what the new stadium looks like.
David Lawrence, general manager of the Carolina Mudcats, is joining us here. A couple of things that stick out to me about Five County Stadium. One, the field. It's one of the greatest playing surfaces I have ever been on. So there's replicating that is not going to be easy. And cattails.
Yes.
The restaurant's great.
So starting with the field, John Packer, our groundskeeper has been a part of the organization for many, many years. And you're not the first or only person to say that. There are quite a few accolades that he receives. I think the groundskeeper of the year last year in the Carolina League was one of them. So he does a phenomenal job with the field, and the field is outstanding. And yes, it will be a challenge to make sure that we try to maintain that integrity and that look. And then our DRB Homes Sky Lounge, which is what used to be Cattails, years
I'm
ago.
sorry.
No. You're okay. You're okay because it is known.
I cheated the sponsor.
It's okay. I mean, it has become that, and we have had an opportunity to have so many groups be a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
The good news is that there will be a similar, if not even better, kind of footprint laid out club room in the new stadium. So that will continue. Name to be named later.
Sure.
Not a player in this case, but yeah. So that will certainly be part of the new, the new facility in downtown Wilson.
All right, you're a baseball fan.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk just a couple of baseball issues. Where are you on an automated strike zone? Major League Baseball, who's like experimenting with this in AAA, came out, I think it was last week, and said, yeah, it's not going to happen anytime soon. They have not been happy with the results they are getting out of AAA. What say you?
So does this fall post Angel Hernandez retirement?
They might be related. Or Laz Diaz, or the guy I watched last night who was terrible. Who was the guy last? I don't even remember who he was last night. I have other issues about last night's game, but that's another story.
No, but there's. I will say this to kind of go off of that. I know that there were a lot of people that were purists of the game. That when you started saying the shift in minor league baseball could not occur past second base, the pitch clock, forbid that we, that there were people that were against that. I philosophically, I understand those thoughts, but gosh, as part of an operation and from just a fan entertainment, those pitch clocks have been great.
Keep the game
they've
moving.
kept the game moving. I get it.
I agree with you.
There could be some instances where, but I mean, these kids now, the ones that we're getting, which are brand new. This is many of their first professional sports experience at our level. That they're already in tune with it. They've already. I mean, they've adopted. They've adapted, I guess. And so with that. I think for the automated umpire, not to skirt your question, I'd like to see more data. I'd like to see a little bit more like how it's going to work, because part of me, it is a human game, and there is the human element. And if you remove all aspects of humans in the game, you might as well play it on a screen.
I'm with you.
And so again,
I'm 100% with you.
And I get it that there's there's replay, there's going to the headsets, there's things like that in certain instances, but the balls and strikes, I mean.
Well, you tell me if I'm crazy here. David Lawrence, general manager of the Mudcats. Pitching, yeah, I mean, it's linear, right?
Yep.
The strike zone is supposed to be, bottom of the knees to basically the bottom of the shoulders, right?
Right.
Or top of the knee, whatever. So it's linear, and it's the outer edge of the plate. But it's an art. Pitching is an art form. And pitching is about deception. Deceiving the hitter, and at times, deceiving the umpire.
Okay.
So why wouldn't we do this? Why wouldn't we just work as best we can to have better umpiring? And why don't we just have, like, there are certain umpires who are great umpires but aren't necessarily great at balls and strikes.
Right.
Right? Why don't we have, all right, these are our, 25 best balls and strikes umpires, and these are the guys that are always going to be behind the plate. It's like we have, 20 NFL referees, and everybody else is a specialist.
Right.
Why wouldn't we do that?
Yeah. I mean, it's
we've solved the problem.
Well, I was going to say, you have solved the problem, and Sports Talk Radio allows us all to just join in and contribute to that solution.
If we took calls. I don't want to.
You take social media.
We have Twitter for that.
There's plenty of that. But no, it's like I said, it's great to to have people come out and be able to see those things at some of these guys' first entry into and so like I said, July 4th, 5th, and 6th, that's coming up after Heroes Weekend.
That's right. Mudcats for America.
It's Mudcats for America. We've got massive fireworks
rivalry, Down East Wood Ducks.
And it is with the Down East Wood Ducks. We were able to win the first half. We held off the Wood Ducks and Lynchburg to secure a playoff berth for the first half of the season here, and we'll see what happens the second half. So.
All right, well, good luck. David Lawrence, who's the general manager of the Carolina Mudcats. Heroes Weekend coming up Friday night the 28th, Saturday the 29th, and Sunday the 30th. 1,000 military-style Mudcats jerseys. First
Saturday.
1,000 on Saturday for Military Appreciation Night.
Yes, sir.
And teachers get honored on Sunday, and that's what I'm about.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, AG.
All right, you're a Cubs fan.
Yep.
You watched the game last night, right?
I got the updates.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was brutal. I didn't really want to.
Oh, were you at a concert last night?
No, not at a concert,
Okay.
unfortunately.
Anyway, the home plate umpiring was not spectacular.
Yeah.
There were probably, maybe we should say it this way, because there's a reason why Major League Baseball has not embraced strike zone automation. I don't believe they are worried about the umpires' union, right? But there's a reason why Major League Baseball hasn't embraced it entirely. It's because their experimentation with it at the AAA level has not gone as well as they had hoped.
No.
I know that there's a lot of pushback against the changes that Major League Baseball has made structurally to how the game is managed. Let's just say that. The pitch clock, people don't like. There are certain other things. How you can slide, when you can block the base. All these types of things have annoyed baseball lifers. Some of that I get, right? The shift, right? I was against, and I still am, preventing a team from scouting and setting up their defense accordingly. I'm against that. I believe that if you always hit the ball into this part of the field, I should be able to put all of my fielders there.
Yeah, right.
Because it comes with a risk. The risk is you hit the ball the other way.
Yeah, and there's no one there.
And there's nobody there. And I should have the right to do that. Okay, regardless. I'm no fan of Rob Manfred at all. I think he is arguably the worst commissioner in all of sports ever.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Bud Selig. I thought Selig cared deeply about the game.
Yeah, you can tell the difference.
But I do think that Manfred's changes that he's made to the structure and the managing of the game have had a great positive impact on the pace of play and so many other, I think the game is really good. I think analytics have hurt the game more than it's helped the game. The fact is that we have too many guys it doesn't matter if you strike out. The only thing that matters are the three true outcomes, strikeouts, which we have tons of, walks, which we have too many of, and home runs. I'm not going to say we have too many home runs, but more home runs at the expense of other things I don't think is great. I don't think it's better that we have fewer balls in play than we used to have. But they definitely want to automate the strike zone. They just haven't seen the results of that automation get to a level where they can say, all right, the home plate umpire is only going to be there for a last, basically to arbitrate on disputes, right? The closest we're going to get to it now is the umpire would be told whether it's a ball or a strike, and he would have the ability to overturn what the computer is telling him. Like right now, that's the best we could get to, and clearly Major League Baseball is not at that point. Otherwise, they'd have it. They would absolutely have it. But last night, your Cubs got I thought,
barf.
Yeah. And I managed to talk about all of that without, even though the Mets won, without complaining how the Mets tried actively to not win. All right, tomorrow, who you got tonight? Edmonton or Florida?
Oilers.
Yep, I do too, which is sad for me because I really want Paul Maurice to get his name on the Stanley Cup. But have fun, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
It's bow time. Listen up, because we've got some big news to share. You might want to sit down for this. Bow Sauce is back at Bojangles. If you think you missed it, just imagine how our Supremes must have felt. Because there's no better sauce to pair with our crispy golden chicken Supremes. They're already boldly seasoned to perfection, but add Bow Sauce and you can taste a truly legendary combination that will make you want to yell, "It's bow time." So don't wait. Grab a Supreme and dip into some Bow Sauce. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. Time to stop whatever you're doing to satisfy your craving for flavor with a Bojangles Chicken Supremes dinner. Choose a 3-piece or 4-piece Supremes dinner. Get your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea. And